The real ones know. Look at me and Rebecca bouncing our head. Delvin's damn fake Nintendo fan. He has no idea what he's listening to. No clue.
To be fair, I couldn't hear the music because it's still doing that thing where, like,
ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 2023 PSVG's wrap-up show. We are starting almost 30 minutes behind schedule. That is any indication of what a fucking mess this has already been. We've lost people. We've lost browsers. We've lost routers. We are on a roll. I'm your
but we're here. Tonight. It's working.
Yes, Donnie Reese, joined by PSXP's Holiday, Haley, and Bagels. Welcome to the show, Bagels.
I am here so I don't get fined.
Repping Bored with Video Games, Kyle makes his first holiday entrance. Welcome to the show, sir.
I was told there'd be punch and pie.
You have to check in the other room after the show. I think.
Dang it. Okay.
It might be over there. And then my partner in crime, Miss Holiday Rebecca. What's up?
Hi, I'm mostly always to blame when anything is ever late. If you ever want me to be somewhere. What?
Florida entered the chat and it all went to shit.
That is accurate.
The blame is 100% on one side here.
There was no problem until Bagels joined us.
Right. This call connected to Florida and then it all went south. It's
but
like Ron DeSantis saw it and was like, absolutely not.
We cannot afford to lose more people, so don't say anything bad about Bagels.
To be fair, much like everything in my life, a woman involved, I'm here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rebecca's the one that brought him.
Yeah.
Our milkshake brought you to the yard? Is that what you're saying?
A guy calls, like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
That's
what Dev said.
They're like, tell Rebecca to do it. Like, shit.
I was begging on my hands and knees for Dev to be here. And he was like, I'm busy.
You have no power there.
Yeah. That doesn't work for Dev.
There's no sway there.
At all.
Dev's like, nah, I don't want to do it.
Yeah. That was never going to happen. We may have more surprises in the show, but for those of you that have listened to PSVG and have never caught one of these, this is our year-long wrap-up show. We've been doing this, been a PSVG tradition. I have no idea how many we've done, like 4 or 5 of these in a row. So every year we try to get, the idea is that we get everybody on a call, and everybody usually turns into 4 or 5 people. Yeah. Like we can never quite get everybody, but we still try. We try every year. For those that podcast with me, we haven't podcasted in a little bit. We've been off a couple weeks. And then Bored with Video Games, you guys haven't posted a new show quite yet, right?
Not for the month. We record actually next Friday, so there will be one out the day after Christmas.
And then same for XP. So we really haven't talked on microphones in a minute. How's everybody been? How are you enjoying the break? How's life been treating you?
I just finished my last shift until the 29th. I wasn't supposed to work till January, but I got a gas station scheduled on the 29th. So
better than the 25th.
I mean, yeah, but they don't want us working on holidays because then they got to pay us overtime. So
sure. I've been this snuck up on me. I thought this was next week. Not even lying. Like I was sitting there and I was just like, when are we doing that show? Is that tomorrow? And I was like, oh, it is tomorrow. Yeah. So it really snuck up on me. I haven't been playing very many games in the break. And I honestly haven't been all that tuned into what's going on in games. like I've really been like kind of working and then doing the Christmas stuff and the family stuff. So it's
off
been a nice
the grid.
It feels that way. I feel more disconnected than I normally do. What are you, Bex? What you been up to?
Oh, work is always so stressful this time of the year leading up to holiday break. Yeah. It's always so busy, so many deadlines because you can't, stuff due before the New Year's, and then just kids are just the behaviors are off the wall. So it's very busy. I come home and I cry and I nap and then I go back to work. But I've been having fun on my Steam Deck lately. It's been really great, and it was a good purchase. It was a very good purchase for me. Yeah, I got
that cookie cutter though. Got to get it.
I will check that out.
Awesome.
I got Game Pass up and running on it. I got PlayStation Plus Cloud games up and running on it. I've got my emulators. I've got my fan games. I've got everything.
Nice. Very nice.
Yep.
Kyle, how goes it in your neck of the woods?
It's kind of nice. I am now officially at the halfway point for finishing my doctorate, so that's pretty exciting.
It is.
Yay.
So we're halfway
there. Very good.
We're all just like playing games and being degenerates in life, and Kyle's getting his doctorate.
Well, I had to fill up my time with something else, so that's what I decided to fill it with. But no, it's been good. So otherwise, life is good and boring. The downfall is I'm a very boring person now because literally all I do is I work, I go to class, I do homework, and when I'm not one of those three things, I'm working on my dissertation. So I am an extremely boring person now as a result of this. So really, everything is fine. Things are fine. Nothing is exciting going on unless you want to, learn about like all of the books and articles I've been reading, which are probably a dry for most people.
I don't miss those days. I never did any of this until after I graduated college. And I think about it often. I could have never done it when I was in college because that was me. That's when I found podcasting. I started finding podcasts because I was in books the whole time. I needed things to listen to while I was writing and stuff.
What a coincidence. I found PSVG because I needed something to listen to on my commutes to grad school.
Yeah. See, that's how it goes. Okay. Well, we've had announcements since we all kind of took a break. We had the TGAs. We officially took a break right before it. So we got Ragnarok DLC that got dropped. There was a Blade game that was announced. Last of Us Factions was canceled. There's a
Please wrap it up.
Samurai game. So what do you guys think? Anybody have any comments or thoughts on that one?
The very good meme of "please wrap it up." That image of the teleprompter from the TGAs that's been going around. That I cannot imagine trying to give a speech about coworkers you lost during the pandemic and being told to wrap it up. Like that's that sucks.
Wrap it up. We got a commercial to play.
Yeah, exactly.
They should just have the wrap it up box out there.
The Muppet got like 10 minutes long, and the developers.
Why did we need a 5-minute bit about Gonzo chasing chickens?
Because the Muppet. You don't love Gonzo?
Gonzo's fine, but I don't need 5 minutes. I don't need 5 minutes.
Gonzo didn't develop any games.
They should have made the whole show just the Muppets. They should have given out the awards.
Just Gonzo?
Everything. Gonzo.
It already is, Delvin. It already is all Muppets.
And the game of the year.
I didn't watch, and I haven't seen this meme. I don't know what it looks like. I get it. I understand what you guys are talking about, but I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, it's a huge, very big.
The Muppets were there?
Yes.
Like Nintendo, like the Muppet, like the Nintendo Direct, like the Muppets.
No, like the
no, like Muppets.
Jim
like
Henson
the Muppet.
Gonzo,
the Muppet.
Yeah,
that sounds kind of cool.
That's a celebrity.
Yeah,
like Gonzo. Gee, the goat.
Like Gonzo, like from the Muppets. Like he was.
Yeah, I get it.
The legend.
I don't know about all that, but sure.
The legend, Gonzo. Yeah.
All right.
He was there. He was mimicking Jeff for like 2 minutes, and then the rest of his bit was about chickens. And he chased the chicken off the screen, then back across the screen, then back. Across
as much as I love piling on the Game Awards, I don't want to turn it into this show. Is there anything you guys are excited? Any news you wanted to talk about, or have any thoughts you wanted to share about?
I'm very sad about Last of Us multiplayer being canceled.
Yeah, that is sad.
I really like Factions, so
I'm not sad at all. Like I would have never played it, so I can't even act like I would. I said it in the Discord earlier. I just feel like it's a rare miss that we don't like. I've never really associated with Naughty Dog. Like Naughty Dog, usually everything they do is usually like really solid, if not like incredible. So for them to like just cancel a game out of like that just feels very off.
Yeah, I don't think it should have been a thing, honestly.
Like in my head, and we've got PlayStation people here, so you guys tell me what you think about this. In my head, I would think at the very least they would have like. If they realized this wasn't going the way they would, instead of canceling, they'd be like, all right, let's just like turn it back into Factions and put it back into the remaster or something. Like the idea that they were like, never mind. I'm like, oh shit. That must have been good.
I actually think that's what they did. I think they took what worked from their development and turned it into the roguelike mode that's coming with part 2 on January 19th. I think that's what they did.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
but that's not.
They
but
also
that's
say
not
that there's a new project that they're working on.
They're supposed to be working on a fantasy game, right?
Actually, that is the rumor, yes. And they've confirmed that like there's more than one game in development. So,
yeah, just like they confirmed Factions was in development forever.
Yeah,
I mean, yes, but I'm very much laughing at Josh in the background, just going, "No."
I think Frisk is being bad, and he's yelling at him. He does a better job of yelling. I'm not the disciplinarian of the cat. He is.
Oh no, Frisk
I
is like,
wonder why.
Listen here.
I'm in charge.
I'm the captain here.
He's
like,
my
okay. Who the fuck do you think you are?
Yeah.
I know you're new here.
Yeah,
but get your shit together.
You have temporary status here, sir. Yeah, I don't want to pile on Naughty Dog. They're like one of my favorite studios in the world, or at least I think they're one of the best ones in the world. And it just feels like an odd miss for them. But yeah, it is a bummer that it got canceled. I just, in all of video games, not just them. I know that they're like the headliner at the moment for this, but I always think it's wild, the vaporware announcements at video games, because usually when we do like our retrospectives, which we've done on I've done on Shaq mostly. So like I love going back to like the E3s when the 3DS was announced and when the Wii U was announced, and there are all these games that were like, we're gonna put Call of Duty on 3DS, and this shit never shows. It never happened. And like video games is a crazy industry where that is the norm. That's not like a one-time thing that happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like it's in Factions is one of them. We had a whole presentation. Troy Baker was there. They showed art. They're like, it's coming. And like, nope, never mind. Didn't happen. Don't worry about it. Like video games is kind of wild in that respect. Like I'm sure movies get canceled, but like it's not the same. You know, market like the same movie like over and over again. And we've got it, and it just never comes out and it's just gone forever. Yeah. You know, like that's pretty rare.
One of the most famous vaporware, right, is Agent by Rockstar.
Yeah. Like they all do it. They all do it. And it's I would love. It's a neat idea. I would totally buy a coffee table book of games that never made it. Like it's a like there should be a whole documentary on just these projects. It's a fascinating part of the industry because like I would love somebody to really dig in. Like how many people worked on Factions for how long? How much money did you burn into all of this before you pulled the plug? You know, I bet it would shock people. They're like, we've spent $80 million on this game.
And that's why a lot of these companies go out of business. They invest in things for X amount of time, then they get no return on investment. That's rough. That's
right. And a lot of studios can't make it. A lot of studios don't have that option. Right. And I think that's why and I won't name names, but like there's one game that comes to mind. There's a lot of games that get made and the game takes like 4, 5, 6 years to come out. And like 4, 5, 6 years ago, it was a really great idea. And then you go 4, 5, 6 years in, and it's not as the killer idea we thought it was.
It can be a fast-paced, unforgiving industry.
You know, it's like we're gonna make a squad-based looter shooter with microtransactions. You fast forward 6 years, it's like the internet's gonna kill you when you release this trailer. Yeah, you know, like it happens all the time.
I mean, okay, I get what you're saying.
See, you catching the drift. But
I am catching your drift. We don't have to name names.
But anyway, this year, let's start about 2023. This is gonna be a wrap-up show. We're gonna talk about our favorite games. We're gonna talk about what we're looking forward to next year. But I want to do a quick little recap. I wrote down a couple of headlines, a couple news stories that happened this year, just to kind of put the past year in reference. It was a great year for games. Definitely not so much for game developers. We had a lot of layoffs and a lot of downsizing going on almost across the board. Embracer lost a huge Saudi money deal and has basically like cut like 4 studios and thousands of jobs. The Activision deal to Xbox, I think, is the story of the year. I mean, that's just basically dominated the news cycle.
Hey, we even got more news about that today.
Did you see what was that? I have no idea.
So the original lawsuit that sparked Microsoft buying it, they lost. They have to pay out like $50 million or something like that in like the sexual assault lawsuit. So,
man,
good accountability.
That's true.
Yeah,
hopefully get their money. The Wii U and 3DS shutdowns were officially announced by Nintendo this year. That's the end of an era.
It was coming. It was only a matter of time.
The whole Nintendo like dual screen gaming era basically will be shut down. The next GTA game announced, and that's new, but that's huge news. And it's like first time we've heard from Rockstar and like GTA in a decade, so that's big news. Jim Ryan stepped down as head of PlayStation, also big news. And,
received a cookie with his face on it.
Yeah, they did make those cookies. E3 is officially dead for good this time. Dunzo.
Yep.
Rip.
Yep. And I was going to write down, I was going to call this the year of the portables.
Yeah.
You guys think so? We got PlayStation Pros, we got Allies, we got OLEDs and Steam Decks and Anbernics and all these things, Pal Kitties, and everybody's got a damn
future of gaming, or at least the current meta of gaming.
It's a big part of it. So I wanted to go around the table before we got into our favorite games this year and just ask you, what did you think about gaming in 2023? Start with Delvin.
I thought it was fantastic. I think one of the best years in gaming we've had in a long time, and that says a lot considering we've had some really good years in gaming lately. It's just like it's been hit after hit, and even the misses are like, it's a miss, but we're fine. It's not like we were. If you wanted content this year, you were very happy, and I just really enjoyed it. Like in almost every aspect, like you had the different handheld consoles coming out, which I love that we have competition in that space again. It just seems like the whole market is just a new and fresh with ideas, and I kind of dig it. Even the whole idea of like, hey, you like Atari? We're bringing it back, baby. And we're releasing. We're releasing new games for it. We have a modern Atari console. We have the original Atari 2600. I'm like, that's a pretty cool thing, and I think that's a sign also that the gaming industry in whole is doing pretty good. They're bringing back the Atari 2600. Like, hey, you guys can buy this.
Nice. What do you think, Kyle?
Well, I mean, excuse me, I think pretty universally, right? The games this year were great. Like, I don't think there's much argument about the quality of the experiences we were having. But I do think that everything kind of surrounding that, whether it be layoffs, whether it be kind of everything else, seemed just kind of crappy. Like, the general culture of being a gamer to me seemed way less enthusiastic for anything other than the games. Like, the games were great. We'll talk about those in a bit, but I don't know. It was really hard to want to be invested and tuned into what was happening around the industry, because it never really seemed like you were celebrating a win. Everything seemed like everything kind of had was a loss, or at the very best, like a neutral thing that kind of depended on what your perspective was on it. So I don't know. It seemed like a good year if you were going to stick your head in the stand and just play some games. It was a great year for that. But if you were trying to, stay in tune with what was happening around, I usually felt worse about things than I felt better about things when it came to, the industry or games as a whole, from my perspective, at least.
I was going to go last, but I'll jump in and just echo what you said. I think that's well put. It did feel like one step forward, one step backwards. Even if like a game was really great, it almost felt like it was like maybe online, it was like, toxic or divisive. And it's just hard to really enjoy yourself, like it's like in the industry and everybody just have fun, which is more or less the kind of the true nature of the entire medium is entertainment, but yeah. I think that's well said. What do you think, Rebecca?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I agree with a lot of what Delvin said, that this is one of the best years for video games, like content-wise, that we've seen in a long time. I feel like we went into the year thinking, okay, the two top dominating games for, everybody's game of the year are going to be Tears of the Kingdom and Starfield. And like Starfield, while a lot of people really enjoyed it and, it did a lot of really great things, it ended up not being so much in the conversation at the end of the year because there were just so many other games, that came out this year that people weren't expecting, or, that were maybe some sleeper hits. I just think that they're right across the board. It was a really good year for content wise. But that's a good point that Kyle brought up too. The developer layoffs was really crappy. It feels like that really, every month there was really like new headlines about that. You're rewarding the employees who made these amazing games by saying goodbye. You no longer have a job.
I tried putting it in perspective because, not that anybody really cares to hear it, but I started on PSVG. I did a little exercise where I started tallying up like all of them together just to see like, okay, we hear about it all the time, but like really how much is this affecting us? And almost like across the board, it was like probably between like 3 and 6% of most people's development staff. So it was like, in the grand scheme of things, it was like minor. I think it's okay for developers to have, downsizing. I think it's a part of the business. But Dev made the best point of it because it kept happening. It just felt like the news was just that. It was just every week. It was more layout and more layout and more layout. And it just like dominated, like if it had all happened like in a week and it got by, I think maybe it would have felt differently, but it feels worse, I think, from a macro level. Because it just kept happening. And it's still happening. It's still happening today.
For the people who want to break into the industry. And I think it's not even just the development side either. I know that there were a lot of layoffs with marketing. There were a lot of layoffs with journalism, with PR, across the whole industry. I think it's definitely not a great sign for the people who want to break into those kind of jobs.
And
I mean,
as cutthroat as it sounds, it makes sense. We're coming out of COVID. We had like these all-time boons. You're like, it's got to come back down to earth, right? Like people are going out, they're doing more things. Delvin's out here looking at mermaids and getting waffles and shit. He's not playing and buying as many games. Like, like there has to be a course correction, but nobody wants to hear that when you're faced with, there are people that are losing their jobs, and it sucks. It's like a really demoralizing story.
I mean, like on the layoff part, right? Like Bungie's entire social community team was just axed.
I was going to mention that, Haley, and then days later, Destiny was nominated for Best Community Support, which is a little bit of a sting to,
I mean, that was
this high praise for the team that got axed.
Yeah, pretty tone deaf.
But also, I mean, like the reason that the layoffs stayed in the news so much is that it got so bad that even developers started like tallying up just how many jobs across the industry were slashed, and we're almost at 11,000 this year alone.
Yeah.
Like that's a significant portion, and the
11,
job
real
market
people with real lives, with real families who no longer had their job.
Yeah,
like Kyle put it well. Like it's a great year for the content, but man, the development side not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's at least acknowledge and appreciate the content that we did have, and let's go around the room and do our favorite games, as we do every year. We're going to count down from 5 to 1. We'll do this round table one at a time. If somebody says a game that's in your list, feel free to chime in, or if you want to hold it until when you bring it up, do as well. This is kind of an open forum, and I'll kick off, and we'll just go around in video format as I see everybody. And my number 5 game, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is I don't even have them ready to go. Is Planet of Lana. Planet of Lana comes in at number 5 for me. You could call it my indie game of the year because it'd be the highest game on my list. I do my lists weird. I think it's a little different. Sean and I have talked about this in long form and Sweet Hangs. I mentioned it throughout the year. Since we started doing this Christmas show, I started adapting to this new way of doing this because you guys probably went through this exercise today, I would imagine. I would do these Christmas shows in the past, and then I have to like sit down like today or the day before and think of everything that I played and try to put them in order. And it's basically just like how I felt about them that day. And it never really set well with me. I didn't think that was like the most analytical way I could do this. So what I've been doing for years now is as I play them, I put them on a list. I have a little Google note that I have right here pasted to my desktop. And I basically put them on the list when I finish them or get done playing them. And that's where it stays. And for better or for worse, like I put it on the list, and it's at the time when I put it on the list, that's where it was. And the Planet of Lana jumped up there. I absolutely adored that game. It was first and foremost, it was gorgeous. That was one of my most anticipated Game Pass games of the year. And I love the image and form thing that they do. It's very much like an Inside Limbo-esque game. Like these heartfelt walking sim narrative adventure games with like some light puzzling going on. It's got incredible music, some really cool set pieces, a really emotional story. And at least for me playing on PC, it ran like a top. It was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful emotion. And just nothing really quite reached that level for me. So that's why it stayed there at number 5. And
I remember you talking about that game when you were playing it. And I'm not surprised that appears on your list. You really like that game.
Yeah. So let's go clockwise. So that would be from me to Haley.
My number 5 game is Jedi Survivor.
Oh.
I really enjoyed it, but honestly its performance issues kind of like hindered my enjoyment of it. I got to go back and finish New Game Plus at some point. I'd still want to get all the achievements, but a bunch of them got busted with their first patch where they tried to improve performance. So like if you remember from Fallen Order, they had like the gardening mechanic on the ship where like you would collect seeds and they would grow in real time.
Yes.
Well, they expanded that in Survivor. So now it's not on your ship. Like the hub world planet that you go back to the most in the story has a garden on the roof of one of the buildings. And you only unlock the next plot as you fill up the first plot, then the second will unlock, then the third, and there's 4 of them. But the 4th plot would never unlock for me. Like it just wouldn't unlock, even if I had all of them there. So that kind of bugged out a bunch of my trophies because like you need one of them, you need all of them unlocked to unlock collectibles on the map. So it's like the story's great, performance hindered it, but there's nothing like just slicing through enemies with the lightsaber, the different stances. I really wish you could use more than 2 at once. I found myself sticking to like the dual lightsabers and the single blade rather than like trying out like the cross guard or anything like that. I won't get into story spoilers because there's probably people in our Discord or who listen to the podcast who might get it for Christmas if they haven't played it yet.
Spoil the whole thing.
No.
Let's start at the beginning.
No.
I mean, I've seen the ending. I saw the movies, right? Yeah. Like Rey shows up, blows up the whole ship and everything. Like we know where it goes.
Yeah, Kylo Ren, he does the thing.
Yeah, Kylo Ren. They fight some red people. It's very artistic.
Fight some red people. Yeah. I cannot tell you how many movies that describes. I don't know. I enjoyed
Jeff will be happy that at least made the show.
He's never happy.
That's true. That's fair. That's very true. That's so true. Delvin, you be up next.
My number 5 is going to surprise people because this easily can be my number 1. Only reason why it's not my number 1 is because I haven't played it enough as I want to. Because I'm trying to beat Tears of the Kingdom. My number 5.
I was going to say that.
My number 5, Super Mario Wonder.
Ooh.
Like I said, this is probably one of my favorite games of all time.
Wait, Delvin, did you say you pushed off Tears of the Kingdom so it's not in the top 5?
I didn't say that. No, I said this game probably be my number 1.
He hasn't played enough of it.
I see.
Yes,
okay,
I'm still playing Tears of the Kingdom. I'll talk. We'll get to Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay.
I'm still playing Mario Wonder, but for what I've played of it, it's a game that every time I play, I get happy. I get extremely happy, and I'm just like in love with everything that happens in the game. And even when I like lose or die, I'm not mad. It's just I don't think I've ever experienced a game that gives me such a euphoria kick. It kind of like makes me giddy when I play it. And this game does that. I just kind of really love being in the world. The world is beautiful, it's colorful, it's bright. It's like watching a live painting. And it's so much to love about this game. And it's not easy, but it's not hard. And it's just kind of like, it's challenging, but it's challenging with a point. And it's kind of cool that a game, as you're going through the challenges, the game inspires you to keep going on. And it kind of gives you little fun hints in the way like, hey, what's that over there? Like, oh, hey, little flower, I like you. Thank you for telling me that. And you go over there and kind of get it. It's so much about this game that I absolutely love. And my only, like I said, the only knock on the game I have is the fact that I didn't have enough time to play it. I want to play the game more. Like even now, I'm like, I want to play the game more, but I have to finish this. And that's kind of been my whole story for this whole year. Like there are a lot of games that easily could have been in my top 5, but I just haven't had the time to play them because I've been playing Tears of the Kingdom and other things. So it's like,
I'll jump on that bandwagon. I loved every bit of the first 5 hours that I played of Phantom Liberty. Like literally every moment. Like it could have been my game of the year if I was just judging on those 5 hours.
Yeah, see?
But I stopped playing it to play Wonder, and I haven't come back to it. And because I haven't played more of it, it's literally not on my list. I have omitted it from inclusion because I haven't played enough of it.
And that's how I feel about a lot of games. Like spoilers, Baldur's Gate is not on my list, and I played like 10, 15 hours of it, but it's because I haven't had enough time to play of it because I've been playing so much stuff. And that's what I mean when I say it's such a great year in gaming. There's just so much stuff I want to play that I just don't have time to play. And it's not because they're not bad games. It's just like, no, I have no time to play it now.
Yeah,
it's because you're spending your time playing Fort Solace, the walking simulator.
Yeah, that's true. You did play that.
That was 3.5 hours of my life I will never get
Gollum.
I have not played The Walking Dead Destinies. You spent your time playing that too.
Took some time for that too.
Well, that is a classic game.
It's okay. It's hey, look, Delvin, we have to bring that to the airwaves.
I don't want to spoil my number 1.
Nice. You can't appreciate the top, right? That's what I always tell Dev. You can't appreciate the gems at the top if you don't sink down to the bottom every now and then. Right? Like that, that gives you higher appreciation. Yeah, because a lot of time there'd be people play a game, they'd be like, it's a 7. Have you played a 3? Because if you played a 3, that 7 might be a 9.
Exactly.
You need to play
Yeah.
some more 3s.
Yeah.
Play a 3 or a 2. That 7 looking a lot better.
Exactly.
I'm telling y'all, Dead
It could
Island's
be a
incredible.
1.
It's really good.
It could be a 1 the day before.
Oof, oof, oof. Kyle, the show turns to you, number 5.
Well, I do need to say that, Donnie, what you said at the top there really resonated with me because I looked at this earlier today. I was like, oh, I have to come up with 5 games. I thought I had a week to do that. This very well may change before I do this on Board with Video Games in a week. But I had 8 different games going for my number 5. And as of right now, at least today, my number 5 is A Space for the Unbound.
Ooh.
I don't even know what that is.
So
yeah, neither do I.
Yeah, it's an adventure game that came out really early in the year. It came out in January. It's an adventure game in the truest sense of like point and click, solving some puzzles, but it's on just about everything. It's a kind of this like heartfelt story about some teenagers in Indonesia and kind of the experience that they go through. It's kind of like if you took a, for lack of a better word, if you took like a supernatural teen drama and like added like a little twist to it. Really interesting.
Oxenfree.
Yeah, kind of. Yes, I mean,
But good.
Like I know that game.
I really like Oxenfree as well, but
Not the second one though, right?
Second
I haven't
one.
played 2.
It's not very good.
Yeah, I haven't played 2. But it just was one of those games that like I heard some good rumblings about it, so I decided to give it a shot, and I was really surprised. And I think maybe the fact that I had no like expectations of what it was going to be, it may have resonated more with me as a result of that. But I think it was nominated for like Games for Impact at the Game Awards. But I really enjoyed the game. It's pretty short, it's like 3-4 hours to finish it up. Has a variety of different kind of gameplay elements that's going through it. But if you're looking for, a shorter game that has potentially a heartfelt story, I think A Space for the Unbound is pretty solid.
And wishlisted. And because Kyle and I, we don't always see eye to eye on gaming opinions, but I do feel like we have a ton of overlap on the indie space. It's something I've always really enjoyed listening to Board with Video Games. I think I've talked about indie games that you've enjoyed, and you've talked about indie games that I've enjoyed, and I have not heard of this one, so I have just wishlisted it.
I will say I actually downloaded Cookie Cutter a little bit earlier, so maybe Cookie Cutter will make it to the top 5. We'll see what happens.
It's so good, you got to play it. Bex.
I had a hard time coming up with my top 5, and I think that my number 5 is going to surprise people because I played this game so early on. It came out in January. I played it so early on in the year, I almost forgot about it, and I wanted to include it just so I could talk about it and give it some love because this was a surprise even to me. But my number 5 is Theater Rhythm Final Bar Line for several reasons. I bought it because I was excited for the DLC that was coming to it. I have never played any Final Fantasy games, so I was not buying this for the Final Fantasy content. I was buying it for the content that was coming later, the Chrono Trigger, Chrono Cross songs, the Mana songs, the Live Alive songs, but that was coming months down the line, so I was playing the Final Fantasy songs, the main story, all of the main stuff. There are like 400 different songs in this game from there's so many Final Fantasy games, like 50 games across the board. There's online multiplayer. I love rhythm games, and kind of like how Delvin was talking about how Mario Wonder just exudes happiness. This just it resonates with it just makes me so happy. The little characters, just how happy the game seems. It made me familiar with the Final Fantasy world and characters. I feel more cultured for having playing this game because I'm not a Final Fantasy person. But there's such great music in that game, and this is like an S tier type of rhythm game. I'm surprised that I never heard of this franchise before this game. And I hope that that Square decides to maybe expand this and do it for some other franchises as well than Final Fantasy, because it was a really enjoyable experience for me in the beginning of this year.
I also forgot that the game came out.
Yeah,
I
it was very early
Theater
this year
on 3DS, and what a great! It just reminds me, and I'm sure we'll get into this many times as of the course of us doing this. What a great year Switch had! It's such a good year. I completely forgot that there's full blown games that came out. I'm like, oh, I forgot that even existed. Wow, that's right.
I know. I almost missed getting this one on my list, but I wanted to squeeze it in there in the top 5. So there it is.
Nice. Round 5 in the books. So I'll kick off round 4. Fire Emblem Engage. I really, really want this game to be higher. I want to put it higher. It's just that's how great of a year this was. I've talked about this game a lot on PSVG and Shack. And I mean, the best thing I can say about it's my favorite Fire Emblem game on Switch. It's one of my favorite Fire Emblem games. I don't know where I'd rank them in the pantheon, not number one, but in the top half, probably in the top 5. I loved it, which is hilarious because I was not digging the marketing going into it. It's like you're gonna collect these ghosts of the past, polish rings, and I was like, what are they doing to my beloved game? This looks terrible. And then I get into it, and it's like, oh, this is not too bad at all. And really, the engine upgrades and the change in art style, it makes the game pop off the screen in a way that like Three Houses just never even came close to. It's so vibrant and so colorful. And I really dug the story, and I also thought the map design, if I could just speak to more of the game, I think the map design was way better. As somebody who's played, that was maybe my biggest issue with Three Houses, that I just felt like if you just kept your units together in most maps, there were like maybe a couple locations where that doesn't ring true. If you just kept your units together, you could just get through everything. It just didn't feel like it was really challenge you in the strategic side of things, where I felt like Engage definitely threw at least different variables at you to think about differently. And I really, really liked it. Again, another game that came out on Switch early, and I personally think has been completely forgotten about. I don't see it really being mentioned around the internet. People aren't thinking about it. Like nobody's really mentioned. Like there was a full Fire Emblem game that came out this year.
It definitely has been forgotten. I think
and it just feels
it was
like
so early on, and there were other
swept
types
under
of
a
games
rug
like that.
Yeah, it was a great year for Switch, and I definitely want to be one of the people on its bandwagon. If you were shopping for deals, I have not seen deals because I'm not paying attention to Engage, but I guarantee you probably get that game for like $30, and I would wholly recommend it. It was fantastic. It was really good. Haley, number 4.
Number 4 for me is Dead Space.
Ooh.
It was my first time playing Dead Space at all.
Oh, wow.
I've never played it. Now don't get me wrong, I didn't go in blind. Like I've seen playthroughs. I just
Sure. No. But like the reason I reacted that way is you are the reason to remake it. Like it is mission accomplished. Like hearing somebody, this is the first time I played this game. Like that's why they do this. Mm-hmm. So for all of us that play all these games, you see the people on Twitter and they're like, why are you remaking it? Haley's the reason why. That's why. That's exactly why they remade the game. That's why they're remaking The Last of Us 2. Why are they remaking The Last? That's why, because there are people that have never played it. So
okay, that's a different story than what Dead Space is. Just
pointing out remakes in general. They get a lot of hate sometimes.
Like, the reason for The Last of Us Part 2 remaster is because of the TV show, and because again, there are
millions of people that are interested in that franchise now that were never around.
That is true.
Yeah, and again, it's far easier for Sony to go, look, they're both available on PS5 than it is to go, okay, so this one's available natively on PS5. This one it's a PS4 game, but you can play it on your PS5. It's just easier for them to have it level.
It's just easier to have it on the shelf again. Just here's the shelf in the box.
Yep. But no. So I've seen like a playthrough of Dead Space 1, Dead Space 2, and Dead Space 3. I had never played them because when Dead Space 1 came out, I was like 13. So you know,
feel like that doesn't shock me at all. It's not that. That's about right.
It was more or less. I hadn't moved in with my mom yet, so I wasn't yet allowed to play games like that. So
I got you. Okay.
So I never really got a chance to play it. And then like a year later, I was playing like as many M-rated games as I could. But. No, I had a great time with it. I've seen some people say that they wish that Isaac wasn't voiced, but I'm like, I feel like they're gonna remake 2 and 3 as well, so it just makes more sense to have him in line and talking to all of them. No, yeah. The only thing that bothered me is that like the Isaac looks like Adam Sandler now. Like
he's the water boy.
He kind of looks like Adam Sandler now. As opposed to what he did before. He looks more in line with the age he's supposed to be, but he does look like Adam Sandler. I thought it was really great.
Uncut Gems, the water boy.
Let's go with
like,
Water
what?
Boy. No. I know
So you
what
gotta
he's
know what
talking
Uncut
about.
Gems is.
I do know what Uncut Gems is.
I was more worried
This is
about
how I
Waterboy.
win.
Waterboy was a long time ago. I was more worried about Waterboy.
I've seen Waterboy. I've also seen
All
The
right.
Longest Yard.
All
I've
right.
seen a lot of Adam Sandler movies.
Gotcha.
The
The Longest Yard. Did you just pull The Longest Yard? Wow.
Yeah.
What an
Yeah,
obscure
I did.
Adam Sandler movie reference. That's true. That he did that. There was a remake.
Yeah.
Yep, I remember.
He did do that. Yep.
Wow.
Hey, Terry Crews is in it too, and he has that whole little dance on the basketball court.
Yeah, that is a movie. That was a movie. Man, I remember right now, and I wish I kind of wasn't, but
Yeah. He remembers
yikes.
this, but didn't know a goddamn move off that blacklist.
What is hang on, what's the action movie that has like Sly Stallone and like all the action heroes? The
Expendables.
Expendables? Yeah, The Longest Yard was like the B movie Expendables, like 10 years before the Expendables. It's just like everybody that like kind of was in a movie, but like not quite. Like they're not at that level. They're like, we can't get Stallone. It's like, what about Sandler? Can we get Sandler? I'm like, we can get Sandler. You know?
I had a great time with it, but you go back and watch it now, and it's like, wow, this did not age well.
Oof.
Most Sandler movies don't age well.
That's not true.
Okay.
Come
That's
on.
not true.
Gilmore's incredible.
Happy
That's
Gilmore is great. Great movie.
It's incredible.
Are you too good for your home ball?
This is Will Sasso. You hit that guy. You know?
Okay.
Anyway, Dead Space.
The sound design on Dead Space is incredible. The weight of the stomp on that you do on the necromorphs is just great, and
it's
always fun to.
It's a lot of stomping.
Like a Kurt Franklin
But
song.
It's very fun to you've stomped them to the point that their limbs break apart, and now you're fine.
I was about to do quotes and stuff. I'm thinking music videos and shit. Come on, Delvin, to be jacking up the show like that.
I was gonna say, GP on your whip man.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is at this point. Firing their limbs back at them to pin them to the wall. It's great. I had a great time with it, and they sent out a survey to people who bought it, going, "Would you buy would you want Dead Space 2 remade?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want that." So I assume at some point that'll be a thing. But that team is currently working on Iron Man. So
Oh yeah,
let's
they
do
are
Iron
working on
Man. Let's do Iron Man instead.
that works.
Yeah.
Do Iron Man.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You're up, Delvin. Do you
My
want a
number-
revolution?
Yeah, I think my number 4 is going to shock a lot of people because people hate it.
You said it was number 5. You can't keep saying it. You can't shock us with every one of them.
Well, I'm going to shock you with almost everyone. My 3, my
he
top
can.
3. Well, I don't think I think my top 3 are safe, but the 5 and 4 I think are the ones. Well, 5 you already heard. 4 is going to shock people. Forspoken.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Well,
I was
that's
afraid you were going to say Detective Pikachu.
Oh no!
I should have said Detective Pikachu.
Hang on. Where did Detective Pikachu end up on your rankings?
Not in my top 10.
One.
What about top 20, 30, 40? Like where?
25.
25.
And I might have played 25 games this year.
We warned you. Tell us about Forspoken.
Yeah.
I absolutely love this game. I know people. I don't think people played this game. I think this is a super fun, entertaining story that is kind of like I kind of really dug what they did with this game. The traversal is pretty fun. I enjoyed the world. The world's a little empty, but it's a reason for the world being empty. And when I was playing it, I was so engrossed by the story and what was going on with it, and kind of like. It's kind of like how you feel about the Assassin's Creed games, how you got to go to certain areas, the cloud areas and stuff. I found myself wanting to do that with this game. Like, all right, there's a certain area, got to clear all these monsters and stuff like that. And I found myself kind of just really getting engrossed in it. Kind of felt a little bit like Attack on Titans. Like this kind of empty world, but these like monsters are kind of traversing around it. And you have this, you're with this young woman who has this like, hey, Garrett.
Oh, hey.
Welcome to the show, Garrett. We're on number 4. So you're here at like basically the top of the hour. We can get you in real quick.
Oh, that's
Perfect
nice.
time.
That's nice.
It's gonna be a long show.
Cool. It's gonna be a very long show. Sounds good. How you guys been?
Good.
Good.
I'm talking about Forspoken. My number
Why?
4 on the list because I love it. It's
Why
great.
is it in this list? Like,
Because it's a fantastic.
Oh my
game.
gosh, he's coming in and wrecking everything.
Just destroying the show already. This is
Delvin
why
sets it up. He's like, I know people talk bad shit about it, and Here comes
Donnie's
Garrett.
like, "Yo,
Why?
Donnie's
Why?
like,
Why
"All right,
are we
let's hear it."
talking about it?
And then Garrett, here
Welcome
comes
back,
Garrett.
Garrett.
Here comes
Yes.
Garrett.
Sorry, I had to
Missed
trash
you,
on
Garrett.
that
King
one.
in the Kool-Aid.
Miss you guys too.
Just,
All right, Delvin, what's your number 3? Detective Pikachu?
no,
Okay.
it's
He made
number
the same
25,
thing you did.
It's like the
25.
jokes write themselves at this point.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
pretty much.
It's like you never left,
Yeah.
Garrett. It's like you've been here the whole time.
Goddamn shit.
There you go. Great chaos.
You
All
should
right,
you
Delvin.
have gave out this link, Donnie.
How's, all right, all right.
Set it to 4 people and just left it at that.
All right.
Forspoken. Any-
I
Still
love
going?
it. I think it's a great
Yes.
story. I think it's very engrossing. I kind of like did the character building in the world. A lot of surprise elements in the game. I know it's a slow start, but once you get into the feel of it, it's really dope. It's really cool. I really enjoyed the story a lot. I think this game gets a lot more hate than it deserves.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a theory on that. I think obviously, I think you compare it and Immortals together. And I think what they can both be evidence of is how hard it is to launch a new IP.
Yeah.
Like
I agree.
I myself was interested in it. You know, I told you that before. I was interested in both of those games. I did not buy either one of them because it felt like, you know, like a bet on something on the unknown. You know, like I wonder if developers ever think to maybe reevaluate these sorts of things and maybe look at something like a PlayStation Plus or a Game Pass and be like, hey, we're launching a new IP that nobody's ever played before.
Yeah.
You know, like let's get them into this and let them see what they're doing, as opposed to being give us $70 for this game you have no history with. As
And
much as I would love to support a new IP, I can't buy every game on day one. I don't have the means to do that. And eventually you do get, I mean, at least I do. I don't want to speak for you guys. Eventually I do get squeezed and having to pick one versus the other, especially in a year where there are so many games that I want to
many
play.
games.
You know, so like I have Forspoken on my wish list, just like I have Avium. They're both on my
Hey,
wish list, and I will get to them when the price is right and the time is right. And unfortunately, for the way game dev goes, these studios get closed because of people like me. Like
Yeah.
they can't sell the
I
damn.
was
And I
gonna say
feel
that.
bad about that, but like it's
Not your
It's just-
fault.
yeah, it's not my fault. It's like I was playing something else. So I think a large part of the, you know, the defense that you have for a game like that is that people just aren't willing to wrap their arms around something they don't know. They're not going to not play, you know, Call of Duty or Resident Evil or something that they love to play something they have no history with.
Hey,
but
Johnny.
that is also my thing. Let me say this before we move on. That is also my problem, man. My problem with it. The fact that we always want new things, but we don't support new things. So we can't really get mad if we get the same game over and over again, the same franchises, because the new franchises try to come out. We don't support them. And that's kind of a catch-22 with things. Yes, it's a new franchise. It's kind of hard to bet on it. But at the same time, if we don't bet on these new franchises, give them a chance, then they won't have room to grow. And then we don't get new franchises. Then we're getting, hey, why are they
And
doing
we
a
get The
Marvel
Last
game?
of Us 3 times in
Yeah.
5 years.
It's the chicken or the egg.
Part
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
Boom.
And then we're like, hey, why are they just doing this established franchise? Why are they making RoboCop into a game? It's because people know RoboCop.
So hang on, but I will push back a little bit. Is maybe developers need to rethink about how they introduce the new franchise, because
I
it's
agree.
not that I don't give new IPs a try.
No,
I bought
it's not
Cookie-
our fault.
I bought Cookie Cutter today, completely blind. I saw a trailer and I was like, I'm going to buy it, but it
Googling
also
it,
wasn't
Cookie Cutter.
$70.
There you go. I agree with
And-
that too.
You sold one copy of Cookie Cutter today as
See?
well, Donnie. So there you go. You're helping out.
So we should just have Donnie just promote the games.
and I would say, like, the games list that I have, I've played almost 50 games this year. A lot of these are new IPs to me, but again, they weren't asking for $70.
That's the
So
thing.
like
Yeah.
maybe if you're trying to launch a new IP, like I said, lean on subscription services, make extensive demos, maybe make shorter games, release them at budget prices. Like maybe game dev needs to rethink how they do this. Maybe don't launch a brand new $70 expansion
I
franchise.
agree. It's
on
not
something people don't
sustainable,
have.
and we're only going to have like 10 franchises by the time.
Yeah, and
I
don't
agree with that
launch it
too.
like next to, like Metroid and Dead Island and like all these other games that do have, like some history. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't launch your brand new IP next to Mario. It's not super smart, guys. Or Madden.
I agree with
Like
that too.
yeah, like there's maybe blame to go around.
I've seen Forspoken on sale now for like $20. or
It's
something
worth
like
$20.
that. That's a good price. And then actually, Ryan from Carpool Gaming told me he's been playing it too. It's improved a lot, like updates, performance wise. It's like
Nice.
top notch now compared to launch.
And that's
So,
something Sean keeps
yeah.
bringing up, and I think he's kind of ahead of the curve on.
Yeah.
That's another thing. You launch this game. How many games have launched this year that were not
Broken.
great on day 1 or day 51?
A lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
All of a sudden, they're great on day 180.
I mean,
It's
Boom.
look at my number 5, Jedi Survivor. It's still not great. Like
Yeah.
it's, as far as I know, like you cannot get a stable 60 in that game.
I don't think
on
the industry from a marketing side has really adapted to it's a lot to ask somebody to just blindly give you money on day 1.
Yeah.
Like you kind of have to have like a super fan there. Otherwise, people are skeptical.
And
They've
that's the
been
good thing
burned
about
a
Game
lot.
Pass.
They've been burned a lot. Whether the game was good or bad or just broken, they've been burned a lot.
Yeah.
So we're going counterclockwise. So that would bring Garrett in.
Okay.
Garrett, why don't
sounds
you
good.
catch us up on your number 5 and number 4, and then we'll get back to Kyle and keep going.
Sure, sounds good. It was about half and half half games I've played like released this year, and then half of these games it's from way before.
Sure.
But my number 5 is actually a good one and unique one for me. I'm not a big Resident Evil fan at all. Like I don't get into the franchise at all, but it's like this is the game you need to play and go through, and I did this year. That's Resident Evil 2, the remake.
very good game.
Yeah, I
I
went
was
through
waiting
that.
for you to say 4.
No, later.
Oh, it's coming back. It's coming. Just hang in there.
Yeah. No, this was a good one from top to bottom. I'm not a big Resident Evil fan, and I didn't really know the kind of the gameplay cater like at the time, so I was just coming in fresh. And man, what a treat that game is. The level design is just impeccable. Going through from puzzle like area to area is just so many different puzzles. I love the inventory management. I like the campiness of the characters and the dialogue and the conversations between one another. It doesn't make sense, but at the same time, it totally makes sense. I like the zombies in there. But yeah, it's just overall really cool game. I'm glad to experience it. And of course, I'll play Resident Evil 4 later.
I gotta ask you,
yeah.
how did you feel when that moment flipped on its head and X was able to enter the main part of the station?
Oh, I was scared. I was just like shitting my pants. Like, oh no, I am going the other way. What really bothered me with X was that he like barged into the middle, like in the foyer atrium level, and just destroyed everything. And I'm like, I'm not safe anywhere. So I'm just gonna have to just run everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite thing is you had the exact reaction the developers intended, because they wanted you to feel safe in that main little atrium area until, I'm not going to spoil what, but until that moment happens, it's no longer a safe area after that point.
Yeah.
And
so cool.
Yeah, X is gonna give it to you. My other question is, did you do the true endings? Did you play it as both characters?
I actually didn't go through the second playthrough just yet. I went through the first one with Leon, from top to bottom. So I guess you could say I haven't truly beaten the game.
No.
Yeah.
None of that. No one's saying that. I just wanted to know, because the ending does change if you do both runs. So like the ending you see is not like that's an ending, right? Like that's the ending. But then if you play the second scenario, right? So like you play if you did Leon A, or Leon first run, and then you're gonna do player second run, you'll get the what they call, it's in the achievement, it's called the true ending, but like you see more of it.
I hear like, with the different playthroughs with the characters, you get a much different perspective, even with like, between the first and second run, which is kind of interesting to hear. I know, many people are so totally into this franchise. So I just wanted to take a peek in and check out Resident Evil 2. So that is my number 5.
Okay.
And I'll quickly go through my number 4. And I think Rebecca will like this very much. Sea of Stars. very
Can I
much
just say that
enjoyed
is
it.
my number 4 as well. So maybe
Okay,
we can,
cool.
we can combine this one.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, we both, got this game, played it on Steam Deck. What a beautiful pixel art based game inspired.
Beautiful. This is the number one
Exactly.
most beautiful game of the past 20 years.
Yeah,
Like it's beautiful.
the developers did a really good job with the art style and the animations, heavily inspired by, classic RPGs like Super Mario RPG and Chrono Trigger. I think it brings enough to the table combat wise. It's a little different. But for sure, there's a lot of inspiration coming from those games. The story was good. I think the pacing was a little slow in the middle, and then it picked up at the last third of the game, which was really nice. The writing was just kind of okay, but the rest of the game was just top to bottom impeccable. I really enjoyed playing it, and yeah. So anything else to say, Rebecca, about Sea of Stars?
Yeah. I agree with everything that you said. This was one of my most hyped games going into the year, as you know, and like I am a little surprised that I have this one at number 4 and not like number 2, to be honest.
Right.
It's no secret, the struggle that I had getting into this game because of the writing, and not just like the typos and grammar and stuff. That was one part of it, but the writing, just for as strong as everything else was, everything is a 10 out of 10, and the writing is like a 3 out of 10. So that really brings it down for me. Thank you. And just like little disclaimer, I have not yet rolled the credits because I actually restarted it on the Steam Deck, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna continue that playthrough instead of the Switch playthrough. But I do feel like I've played enough, to make a fair assessment of this game. The gameplay, like you said, the graphics, the music. You haven't even touched on the music. It's
the
like
music's
so
wonderful.
many earworms in that game. I think this is going to be one of those games that goes down like as an underrated title in years from now, because just the fact of the matter is there were so many RPGs that were amazing this year, and you couldn't possibly play them all. And I do think a lot of people slept on this one because of the time of the year that it came out. It came out like at the end of the summer.
I mean, it came out right after Baldur's Gate, right?
It did.
Like,
there was bookended by like Baldur's Gate and Starfield and like all these other games. But this is something that I will revisit over and over just because of how gorgeous it is. Like this is gonna be one of my favorite games.
I have to ask, did either of the two of you found the now very controversial Gerard reference in there?
He is in the game from donating to the Kickstarter, and one of his lines is about needing more donations.
Yeah,
really, I didn't even know that.
That's little time. Yeah,
little controversial now.
It's such a minor part of the game that it's like an NPC that you don't even need. It's such an optional thing.
You don't need to interact with
NPC.
I'm just laughing at the fact that like his line is, "Do you need more donations?" and then it comes out that he's done like charity fraud.
So. Interesting. Also, the mini game, Rebecca, I forgot what it's called.
I forget what it's called too. I had no idea. I was so hyped for this game, for the mini game. You do, because I could not get into it. Like, you need to teach me, because I saw everybody hyping this up, and I was just like, "What am I doing?"
Because the game teaches you nothing about that mini game. Like, absolutely nothing. I forgot.
It was like in the pub or something.
Yeah, it's in the pubs. Yeah, all sprinkled all around
the tavern.
The taverns, and you it's like Gwent. You kind of face against another opponent. It's not card based, but it's like statue based with some. It has some Yahtzee kind of mechanics in there where you roll dice, and based on the numbers, you get certain like attack and defense. But it's a really cool kind of turn based mini game.
I think so much love just went into the development of this game. It's so obvious of that fact. Beautiful, beautiful game.
Despite the writing being a little on the mediocre side, I did enjoy the characters' arcs and like the characters' stories. I think they did a pretty good job of like, of course, Garl, and then the others. Solstice warriors, like going from beginning to end, and like what's their relationship with other companions, their mentor. yeah, I think they did a good job of like telling the story. It's just the technical writing itself was just kind of, the execution was just not there for me.
Mhm.
So, but I enjoyed it nonetheless.
Yeah.
Good game.
My number 4 as well.
Yeah.
I believe it hits you, Kyle, for number 4.
Well, my number 4 is a game that I honestly didn't know that anyone else was going to have on their list. And I was like, well, here's a crossover. But I was so shocked when it was said that I just didn't jump in, because my number 4 is also a Theater Rhythm Final Bar Line.
Nice.
I huge fan of rhythm games, and I have always enjoyed them greatly. And this has definitely been, for me at least, the best rhythm game of the year. So obviously Rebecca talked about it a ton already. But
I did not think that anybody else would have this on their list, to be honest. Everybody forgot about this game. I'm so glad that you enjoyed it too, Kyle.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So if you do like rhythm games, if you do like especially Final Fantasy, or even if you don't like Final Fantasy but like rhythm, it's a great get. So definitely check it out. It's still something that I play. It never has been uninstalled, because every once in a while I just sit down and want to play through a few songs in it. So it's fantastic though. So I just highly recommend it if you like rhythm or if you like Final Fantasy.
Ton of content. There really is.
Yeah, so much.
You will be playing this for like 300 hours and not hit everything.
Wow. Nice. Then for me for round 3.
I think so.
This is where my list, the way that I do my list, which I talked about as we started, I think kind of hurts me, because my 3 and 2 on whichever day you ask me, I think I could flip flop. Because some days I feel like I like one more than the other, but again, staying true to how I felt at the time, my number 3 is Resident Evil 4 Remake.
Okay.
One of my favorite games of all time. And I absolutely adored this remake. And here's what I think about this remake completely in the end. I think they did such a good job of bringing this game up to modern standards in the new RE engine, and like more of an action game with the new controls, that like it's almost like it is exactly what you thought it was when they announced they were going to remake it. And it's honestly like we, or at least I think some people overlook it because it is exactly what you thought it was going to be. Resident Evil 2 Remake is a very different game than Resident Evil 2. The way you control and everything is very different. Resident Evil 3 is literally different. Like Resident Evil 3 Remake is nothing like Resident Evil 3. Like those are just two different games. Resident Evil 4 Remake, though, is exactly what you think of when you hear the words Resident Evil 4 Remake.
Well, Resident Evil 4 by itself is such an iconic game that the original is, it's almost sacrilegious to even touch that game and remake it.
And since the days that it was announced, I love this game. I played it and loved it on Wii first, and then I got it on Wii U, and I played it on PC, and I've talked about like this game, Resident Evil 4 really sets like the modern standard for like what the third person action adventure game would become. And there's like a whole decade of games that I think basically owe, their existence to Resident Evil. Like they paved the ground. Resident Evil 4 is that game. Like Sony's first party initiative can all be traced back honestly to Resident Evil 4. Like that is the game that was like, this is how action games are going to be for the next 15 years. And that's basically what happened. And I don't know, because of that, I feel like I want to make it higher. Like they did such a good job of it. I have nothing bad to say about the game. I really don't. When I played it and beat it, I was like, this is exactly what I thought it was going to be. It's a great game. It plays better than it ever has. It looks better than it ever has. Like it just is exactly what I expected it to be. My only slight flaw with it is that maybe they made it, it's such an action game more than the first. It's so action oriented because of the free controls. It almost feels like it had to be. There's no other way to really do it, and I don't have anything else. I don't have any stones to throw at it. And I'm tormented because of this in my number 2 pick. Because in my number 2 pick, I've got stones to throw. Like there are things that I loved about it, but I've got stones to throw as well. And here I have this beautiful number 3 is exactly what it is. They are who we thought they were going to be option, and I couldn't give it more than I think I wanted to. And it does torment me, but I love that we had it. It was also early in the year. It might be a little revisionist history. but I mean, I love Resident Evil 4 Remake. It was an incredible game. It is everything I thought it could be. And then some.
I'm so glad that you have that on your list because I have not played the remake, but I will eventually. It's just been, so recently since I played Resident Evil 4, the original, for the first time, that I want to give it some time before I play the remake. But it's just a great game, and I love to hear what you say about it.
It's been a while, but yeah, there's honestly nothing even my minor gripe with it is just it's so minor. Like it's not even really a gripe. It's just like a realization that they didn't really have a whole lot of options. If you're going to give people the ability to free run and shoot, you got to do something with the gameplay. Like the stand still and shoot that made that game scary is no longer there. So how do you counteract that? You throw a lot more enemies. Like there's a lot more enemies, so it's more of an action game. It feels like more of an action game.
Like hundreds of enemies at you.
Yeah, I kind of feel like maybe they should have put in some quick times or some spaces where you could only stand and shoot or something. Like maybe they should have done something like that.
There are more quick times in the Ada DLC.
Okay, yeah, because like it does feel like some of the original is lost, but not a lot. Like it is Resident Evil 4. Like if somebody was like, I want to get into Resident Evil, where should I start? I tell you to start with Resident Evil 4 Remake. Like this is the best of them. Start here and then go play other things. Like again, I have no stones to throw about it. I think it's excellent at every level. It is excellent. And for whatever reason, when I was playing them, I mean, my number 1 is better, but my number 2, I'm kind of torn on. I'm like, is it better than Resident Evil 4? I don't know. Like it's so they're razor hairs. I'm splitting hairs between the two. So my theory for organizing my madness may be doing me in here, because I can't. If you were to say, Donnie, give me reasoning why this is 3 instead of 2, I don't think I can. I don't think I can give you good reasoning. It's just at the time when I finished 2, I thought it was better. But ask me tomorrow, I don't know. Maybe it'll change. I don't know. Haley, number 3. Oh, I'm sorry.
Dead Island 2.
Hear it?
No, I'm just saying it here plays great on Steam Deck. So
it's so
there you
good.
go, Rebecca.
It really is.
Another Steam Deck.
It really
game.
is.
On that OLED, it's going to be good.
So good.
Sorry, continue.
Dead Island.
No, that's fine. Yes, Dead Island 2 is my number 3.
It's awesome. So good.
I really enjoyed it. For a game that was in development hell for like 10 years, this game has no performance issues. Like it runs
that's awesome.
Flawless. For all the games that launched this year and on day 1, like they had performance issues, this was not one of them.
Even on PC. And PC stutter is real. We have so much stutter on PC and shader, and Dead Island is flawed. It runs like a top. It is amazing. And it's not like it's lesser than. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. And it runs phenomenally. And considering this game has been through how many developers and how many restarts, and like it is the shock of the year. Like I never expected Dead Island 2 to perform well or even be good, to be honest with you. And meandering at best. And it exceeded all expectations.
Like it's performed to the point that they are actively talking about a Dead Island 3 now. So like that, I mean they should, yes, but like that is absolutely a thing that's going to happen. The game is great. No performance issues. The combat feels weighty and
best drop kick in video games.
Yes.
That's my game award. That's what I would do if I ran the game awards. Best drop kick of the year goes to Dead Island 2 because it is fucking flawless.
My favorite is how you unlock the drop kick first, and then they give you the jump kick, and you try the jump kick, and it just feels like
you're like, this isn't as good.
I'm like, this is not as good. Give me the drop kick back. I love the way that like the skills you unlock are tied to specific cards, so like you don't have them all active at once. You got to like card them out, but like those cards, once you get them all together, like it's so good. Like the weapons feel like they feel like they pack a punch, and like the flesh system, as they call it, like I forget, it's an acronym, but like I forget what they call it, but it's like some kind of like, it's like fully like I don't know, but it's like an acronym, and each thing stands for like shredding skin on a human or something like that. But like if you hit someone with a rake across the back, like you will fully see like their skin just cut open, and you can like see their ribs.
It's meaty.
It's gross.
It is. I don't like
meaty.
that.
You feel it. You feel it's carnal.
It's great.
You lop off somebody's arm, There's momentum and a weight and a resistance. You feel the
hit
resistance to it, Rebecca.
Yeah.
You
hit-
need a
you hit-
DualSense haptic feedback for that one.
Yeah.
Oh no, that is there. It is absolutely there. You hit a zombie in the face and their eye pops out of their socket, or like their jaws falling off. It's
Keep
so
going,
good.
Haley.
Perfect game for Rebecca. I see. Nice.
Look at her face.
I'm stressed out.
Like,
It's
what
the
are we
best.
doing?
Stressed. I'm really
It's the
stressed.
best. I'm glad it made you list.
Oh.
It's the best. It's really
What
good.
happens when you hit him in the
Um,
stomach, Haley?
What happens when you hit them in the stomach? Their intestines come out. It's
Yeah,
great.
That's about right.
Yeah.
That's not as bad as
It-
the eyeballs. The eyeballs, I don't like that.
Oh, Rebecca, I guarantee you would think it's worse than the eyeball. It is pretty visceral. Like, the story is it's Dead Island, so like the story is not. But like
It's
character
cartoonish and
that I-
dumb. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the character I chose to play as is
It's like, hey,
an
bro,
Irish.
I'm out here lifting weights with my bud. Can you go kill my
Oh.
ex-girlfriend? You know, like,
Yes.
it's
I
so
love
dumb.
it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
much.
Like
Sounds like Florida.
hey, I mean, literally one of the first environments you come across is an influencer house with like a podcasting room and a stream room, and like they have like
House
things
party.
to do.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but like things to do. Film apology video or like some
That sounds
other
like
shit
Florida.
like that. And like one of the side quests you get there is an influencer on the roof who's like making a bunch of noise and like talking about how they can't get out to their audience, and it's great. And they just released their first DLC pack for it, which I really enjoyed. And added some new weapons, some new skills, and everything. And the second one's coming, I think, in like February or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not paying.
I don't. I'm very excited for it. I'm glad this game came out, and I hope we get more. So
Nice.
I will say real quick, like, so this was one of the games that was like flirting for my list, but did not make it just because I haven't finished the
Mhm.
game yet. But it is way more fun than it has any right to be. The game is so fun, and like, what I did not expect for is how much environmental storytelling like exists in this game. Like, for what to just be a complete like throwaway effort, like you'll be going through hotels, and there are like every room you go through is like an entire story being told about like what those people were doing like right before stuff happened. Did they try to survive or not survive? How did they try to do it? Like, you go into one where clearly people were planning like a bank heist. Like,
Yeah.
there's so much environmental storytelling happening in
Yeah.
this game that you're like, this could all just be throwaway, but the effort has been put there to like really make this feel like
The
a
army base.
world that was living in. Yeah, it's really,
oh,
really
the
cool,
army
actually.
based one is
Army
good.
base is great.
I really
The
like
beach.
the beach is good too.
Yeah.
But I really like the one room in the hotel where like they were clearly like about to get married or whatnot, right? And
Yeah.
and like there's just blood everywhere, and you're like, oh no.
I mean, it's boosted on my list. I mean, I'll save it, but yeah, it hit at the right time. I was playing Alan Wake 2 and just honestly just pushing a rock up a hill. I was like, okay, I get it. People think this is fun, like, but I'm not having this much fun. And I'm kind of bored. And I was like, I just don't want to keep playing this. And I was like, I want to play something else. And it was like, Dead Island 2 is on sale. And I was like, I've been waiting on that sale all year long. And I bit, and I was like, this is exactly what I needed. Like, it was the perfect antidote to how I was feeling. I was like, one game looks great, but is it fun? This other game is so much fun. Like, super dropkick. Like, I'm going to throw a battery at people and lop off people's arms with a machete and drop kick people into a pool and electrocute 100 people at once. Like, it's so much fun. Just dumb, silly fun.
Speaking of drop kicking people into the pool, the hotel pool filled with acid, and you find the notes about what they were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad it cracked your top 5. It didn't crack my top 5, but I'm glad it cracked somebody's.
Oh, you know me. I loved that game. I just platinumed it, right? So
It is probably, if I would, not that we give out superlatives, but if I was, maybe the most surprising game. Maybe like exceeded expectations the most. For sure.
That's a good one.
Delvin?
My number 3 is Resident Evil 4.
Ooh, nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I love the original version of it, and this is more of the same, but it's fresh enough to feel unique and different. I like the whole, because for those who played the Resident Evil, I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. For those who played the Resident Evil series, 1, 2, 3 were like the heavy horror based
Yeah.
in the mansion thing. Once you get
Yeah,
to 4, it kind of shifts to a more of an action feel.
Definitely.
And this one does it too, but it does it like in a more of extreme way.
And I think that's why, sorry to interrupt you, but I think that's why Resident Evil 2 and 3 Remake feel like different games.
Yes, they do.
Like they don't feel like Resident Evil 2 Remake. It's like just a different it's like a reimagining of Resident Evil 2.
Yes.
Resident Evil 4 feels like a remake of the original Resident Evil 4. Like
Yes.
it plays differently, but it still feels like Resident Evil 4.
2 and 3 feel like Resident Evil 4.
Well,
Yeah,
let,
two.
let me
Yeah.
let me just
Exactly.
chime in here as well. The thing I'm glad that they changed for Resident Evil 2 when they remade it, they took out the fucking spiders. Fuck
Oh, no,
you,
the
Resident Evil
spiders
3.
back.
Fuck you, Resident
spider
Evil
back.
3.
Yeah,
And
I'm
more
here for that.
spiders.
I'm here for that.
But yeah, it's just something about this game that I really dug. I dug the whole, because you know the Resident Evil series is silly, dumb,
Yeah.
horror, campy action stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
The good stuff.
I love
Where did
that,
everyone go? Bingo? like
I love
love
that the
that game.
games now feel more closer to the animated movies. Which, if you've seen the animated movies are ridiculous. They are literally the games.
they're so ridiculous. Have you seen Death Island? Because
Yeah,
it's
like Leon.
they
Kennedy-
all get infected with each virus. I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They are.
This was also a big get for me coming off of Resident Evil 8
Village.
Village. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wasn't into Village as much,
Because
and
Village,
that really helped.
I like Village, but Village feels like a different franchise almost.
It
It
really
does,
does.
yeah.
I was coming off of Resident Evil Village, and I was like, maybe Resident Evil isn't the franchise I love so much. Like Resident, like if you had asked me when I started PSVG, I would have told you Resident Evil is like top 3 franchise. I might have been like Mario, Zelda, and Resident Evil. Like I loved Resident Evil that much. And then I played Village, and I was like, I don't know if I'm here for this anymore. So Resident Evil 4 was a really good make good for me. A good time.
And I like Village. It's just that this was to me better. This kind of felt like classic Resident Evil, and I dig all the things. I dig the environments, the atmosphere. I dig all the big key moments of the game, and some of the things I didn't even remember because I haven't played this game since like the PS2. I want to say.
Oh wow, it's been a minute then.
So it's been like a
Did you
long
ever
time.
play it on Wii?
I don't think I did,
Wow.
and everybody tell me that's the best way to play it.
I'll say we experience this game so differently because I'm one of those people. I've always thought Resident Evil 4 is best played on Wii with pointer controls, almost like a light gun, like an arcade light gun game.
This is gonna probably not shock you. Also, Resident Evil 4 this year. First time I played it. So
Wow.
Oh wow,
Okay,
that doesn't shock
cool.
me.
That's cool.
I think there's
And-
and honestly more than Dead Space. I think there's a ton of people that probably are playing Resident Evil 4 for the first time.
Probably, I would say so too. Yeah, because it's just,
again that I knew the story of, but
Tank
I do want to
controls
chime in on.
probably
Yeah.
scare off a lot of people.
Yes.
Probably people never even try any of them because of that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I do want to chime in earlier on why this one feels like a different game than like 2 and 3 remake. I do want to say that like it's because like the reason this one feels so
I don't feel like
different.
a different game. It's just closer to the source material.
yes.
than the
Well,
other
yes,
two.
but also besides being like more actiony, 1, 2, and 3 essentially tell like a completed story over like
Yeah.
3 weeks.
That's true.
And 4 takes place like 6 years later. So like
Yeah.
that also adds to it, right? So at least I feel it does.
Yeah. I just dig the way they did it and like the little things the little adjustments and changes they made to the story fit and kind of work better. And it's just so many little things that they just got right with this. Like I remember playing this on GameCube. I remember trading in my GameCube to get a PS2 and then buying it again on PS2. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Playing it now feels familiar. I remember like, when you get into when you're in a little area and the bell goes off and just zombies are coming towards you everywhere, like, oh, this is cool. And I remember playing it in the remake and realizing, oh, I can sneak through this area and kill a lot of these guys before it even starts off. I'm like, that's a really cool aspect of this. And then, of course, me being me, I got spotted and they really called me out and then all the monsters came around me anyway. But the whole, I spent like the first 10 minutes
The
of it
lake
just
scene is 1,000 times better.
it is way better.
Yeah, it's
Way
a
better.
big improvement. They really did that one.
The
much
lake
better.
scene, I dug the knife
Oh.
fight.
Yeah, yeah.
They just
That
had
Krauser fight, man. Oh,
just just a better experience. I really dug it. I really dug this game, and it's a good reason. It's my number 3. Now, granted, crazy to say this, if I would have finished more games this year, the one that we're playing, it might not even make my top 5.
Wow.
but it's just crazy. That's how good of a year this been. But well, we'll get to my number 1 and 2.
Is that Frisk?
No.
No,
Oh, okay.
that is Blue, who has been in my room, and my mom is watching CSI, and the theme song
Like,
for it is a
open the
little.
door. I'm trying to get the CSI going.
The cat is trying to sing the theme.
I found that Melon picks up CSI when we record, so I asked my mom to like shut the door so it didn't get picked up. The cat's not having it. I'm sorry.
It's
if you
okay.
hear
We
CSI.
It's
love
fine, it
the
doesn't matter.
cat.
You
Yeah.
should told your mom
cat
pick more
positive community.
NCIS.
Cool. Garrett, number 3.
Number 3. I don't know if anyone else has this on their list, but my number 3 is Starfield. I think, I don't think it's going to be in a lot of people's top lists unless you're like
correct
a
about that.
Bethesda fan. I'm just saying.
Hey, I appreciate the shout out and the representation, Garrett. I mean, but just honestly,
Calm down, Devin. Okay.
I'm on the record with this one. I looked at that game early on and I was like, this is not for me. And it coming out and it releasing and me living through you and Sean and our friends that played it only cemented that. I was like, this is absolutely not a game for me.
I've been
Like,
watching Josh play it. He's been enjoying it.
I love the fact that Garrett came in swinging at Forspoken, so now the return has to happen.
This is payback.
At Starfield now.
A feud is developing.
Yeah.
An ex-Shack host versus the one who stepped in his shoes. Dun, dun.
Anyways, Starfield. It is a good Bethesda game. I wouldn't say considered like the best or the top, but I really enjoyed it. It's a game that people getting into it may have a harder time, let's say, than Skyrim or like Fallout. But once you understand the systems, everything going on, and how to travel in space, you're gonna have a really good time because these systems go really deep, and there's just so much different types of gameplay within this game. There's like a faction quest line that reminds me of like Alien. You're just like hiding, different hiding spots, and then there's completely like settlement building is so much better than settlement building in Fallout 4. I feel like they put a lot of crafting and kind of space and elements together. So I'm interested in it for sure.
Sure.
The gunplay is
Dr.
better.
Bland.
Dr. Bland right here.
Yeah.
The gunplay is better. I wouldn't say it's like, oh my gosh, it's like a first person shooter, type of thing, but it is better. Quest
That's never been a strong suit with guns though,
Right.
anyways. Like in Fallout 3 in New Vegas, firing your weapon without VATS is pretty much impossible unless you
Right.
mod the game.
Right.
It became possible in 4, like 476, and then Starfield are really they're only like, hey, we're actually intending for you to aim down sights with this. So
Yeah, exactly. I think the quest line is very Bethesda like. You go through a quest line, you have like 4 or 5 different options. You can bribe them, you can lie to them, you can threaten them, you can do whatever. And then there's just many different webs and many different quest lines. And the way you play it is just like it interacts with other characters. Of course, you make enemies, you make friends. I think it just goes to places, man. It's so expansive. There's so many galaxies to go through. I don't think I'll ever end on it, but I would have to say is by far the best Bethesda storyline out of all of them.
I've heard the story. That's what I was going to
yes.
ask. I've heard the story is very good.
It's very strong. Now, if you're gonna just mainline it through the game, I think you may have a tough time at the later end game just because you need to level up and you have to do other things. But yeah, if you go through the story from to the end, you're gonna think, oh, I'm gonna need to do new game, at least start New Game Plus, just to see where that goes. And I've
heard multiple podcasters talk about replaying it and re-rolling, and it gets better the more you keep playing it.
I
Exactly.
think the conversation around this game, I think it's a very interesting game people been talking about because the people who like it love it. Like they
That's
absolutely
true.
love it.
That's true.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
people who don't, they kind of say the same thing. And I don't think it's a knock on the game. It's just like maybe this is not for you. Because like the thing I've heard thrown around is like it's boring. I'm like, and they're like, why is it boring? Because it feels too much like space. Well, that's kind of what space is. so it's like,
It's
A
vast
lot of
emptiness.
nothing.
yeah.
Hey, let's not throw the Bethesda comment PR person in there. Let's leave their comment alone. We don't need that.
Not about that. I'm just saying in
Oh.
general.
No. I was making a reference because the comment that space is boring, like vast emptiness.
I've heard it tell
Was that the Steam review thing?
Yeah.
That is a wild story. I forgot all about that. That was wild that they were out there trying to correct people's Steam reviews.
Yeah.
What the fuck are y'all doing? Stop it.
Yeah, they're like, hey.
What a crazy thing to do.
That's what I was referencing.
They're going to start showing up on GameStop or Walmart.com and be like, yo, you just didn't get it.
We should do that with PSVG.
Oh.
We should do that with PSVG reviews.
Yeah.
I made it.
What a
Yeah.
thing to do. I forgot all about that story until now.
Yeah,
Okay, I get it.
That's
I'm
why
tracking.
I was making the
I'm
reference. 'cause
tracking.
the
I didn't get it
comment
at
was,
first.
like,
You don't
very
get the
similar.
podcast.
The dummy.
Don't change this.
I get it. Yeah, right. Our bad reviews. The guys are like, these Nintendo podcasts don't even talk about Nintendos. We should go back in those reviews. And we're like, you just didn't get it.
You don't get it.
Okay.
Didn't get it.
Don't change it.
Anyways, I enjoyed my time with Starfield a lot. Next year I'll play a lot more just because I know they're gonna keep throwing updates in there for sure. They have a long roadmap ahead. And it's on Game Pass, so it's just like, why not? Like, I'll just kind of dip in my toes in there. And man, I just love building my ship, building my settlements, and just creating like all these different things, and then crafting. It's just so many different systems involved in this game. I loved it so
Jared,
much.
Did you do the Mantis side quest?
Not yet. I'm very close
Okay.
to it though. Like level wise, I'm very close to it. Yeah, I heard
Okay.
it's really good.
What's your
Yeah.
ship look like? Kind of like
Well, my ship was kind of like, think of like Legos made by a 3-year-old, just
Okay.
like a bunch of different, just like weird ass compartments together. And
Some of the
it's-
designs I've seen people make for their ships are wild.
yeah, and I know there's like a bunch of different mods on PC that you can go crazy with those ships, which is kind of cool. I think the shipbuilding was
How many
kind of hard to
sandwiches
get
have you
into.
made?
yeah.
I
Good
have
question.
I made. I don't think you can make them. You can
You
grab.
can't make
all
the
of them.
sandwiches? You just get the
I think
know.
you can just have
You
them
just get-
all.
Yeah,
can
you
just
can just
have
have
the
them
sandwich. Oh, well,
Yeah, it's
that's
all the
disappointing.
object.
That's pretty lame.
Crap.
You start talking about a game where you can craft. If you can't craft sandwiches, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't even craft.
That's the ultimate crafting game.
Yeah.
The only Bethesda game that really lets you make recipes for food are Fallout 4 and Skyrim. The rest
The
of them are
ultimate
just like,
survival
have-
craft is sandwich.
Yes.
Like,
Well,
that's
they
the
don't have
base.
them. You
They
got
should call
You
space.
can
it
eat
the
sandwiches
sandwich
in
the
Sea of
game.
Stars. You can eat what's it like
See?
fish
That's true.
sandwiches. or
Best
something.
game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
See?
Yeah,
Dunked.
there you go.
Sea of Stars just dunked on Starfield's face.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
Make
of making
sandwiches.
sandwiches. All right.
Know what game you
cool.
make sandwiches in? My number 2.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh.
Pretty good there.
Oh.
I'll just leave it like that.
I said my
Kyle.
piece.
Anticipation.
Number 3.
Well, my number 3 is a game that also involves some ship crafting and a potentially kind of oppressive atmosphere, but one that I enjoyed much more than Starfield, and that is
Sea of
Dredge.
Thieves.
Dredge.
I knew where you were going, but I see these. Nice.
So, yeah,
I
it's
like
a Dredge,
Dredge a lot too.
a nice little fishing game, right? That starts out where you have your nice little boat, you're going out and catching some nice little fish,
Yeah.
and then night happens and things get weird and things get Lovecraftian and things get kind of spooky. Has a pretty bleak story. Like you're out
Yeah.
doing this stuff and you're like,
Yeah.
this is great, catching some fish, and things get spookier as time goes. You're upgrading your boat, catching different types of fish, running out and doing errands for people and doing missions for people, and you run into a guy called the Collector who needs you to collect these artifacts, and then things get really sad at the end. But overall, the game itself, though, is great. Really enjoyed my time with it. This was a game that wasn't on my radar at all, and I think Donnie, you're actually the person who got it on my radar. And
There's an indie
absolutely-
overlap.
Yeah, absolutely love. Well, that overlap's going to end soon. But absolutely love my time with Dredge. Highly recommend it. I have the DLC. I just haven't played it yet. But looking forward to anything else that this developer does, because I thought Black Salt Games knocked it out of the park. So really love Dredge. My number 3.
Dredge was
Dope.
number 8 for me, if it's any consolation. It's up there. It's a crazy thing that I wanted to throw out there. I seem to really like games that have boats except for Assassin's Creed 4. Like in any like in Skull and Bones, like
Too much boat.
but like little like fishing games and like Zelda, like when I can fish in Zelda, like top tier Zelda game. Like I
You
love
can fish in Sea of Stars.
I love these little chill games. It's like I'm just gonna have like hang out, and Dredge was such a chill game, like in the daytime. Right, you're just like zipping around, like catch some fish and put out some traps, and it'll chug around the water, and it's so nice.
There were definitely times that I played it and I just like would dock for night and like skip it all and then just go fishing.
You're just like not worrying about. I'm not messing with this right now.
Right,
I'm gonna just go catch some fish. Yeah, 100%. It was such a chill, cool little game. I love that they're getting more DLC. They've supported the game a lot. I really dug it. Had it not been for Planet of Lana, that would have been my indie game of the year for sure. For sure. Bex, number 3.
Okay, I'm gonna get bullied for my number 3 choice, but I will stand strong because I cannot believe that I even played this game this year. Because I was picked to review it. I played Advance Wars 1 and 2 reboot.
Nice.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
This is never something I would have paid money for. What would you say, Haley?
Who's gonna bully you over that?
I don't know. It's not going to be on anybody else's list.
You understand? People don't bully
under the radar.
It did. And, this was a game that was delayed, and, really, it was so quiet, really so quietly.
It did.
I never played the original. I remember that my only knowledge about Advanced Wars was hearing about you, Garrett, playing the original, like on the bus and stuff on your little Richard Pocket or whatever. And so this is baby's first tactical strategy game. I don't normally play this type of game, but it ended up something that I kept coming back to and played more of, and I kept thinking about it even when I wasn't playing it. There's just so much content in this game. Like, you can play through it, but you don't have to play. It's like one of those things where like there's more levels than what's required to play, like in a playthrough. And it really appeals to, I think, people like me who this is my first experience. I'm a newcomer, but also veterans of the series who want to play it has a hard mode right off the bat. It has like really tough levels right off the bat. The soundtrack stuck in my head all the time. The characters are just so lovable. Sammy is bae. I love Sammy. Anyone? Of course. Sammy fan? Anyone? Garrett?
Yes.
No? Yes.
Yes.
Maybe. Yes, we love Sammy. Don't even. Just super clean graphics, just super like, it reminds me, I remember I talked about this on Shaq when I was playing it, but like just the style of it feels like little characters on a tabletop board game, that you're playing like a little like little toys. It's so good.
It reminds me a lot. I wonder if it shares any DNA with Clubhouse Games. Kind of has that same.
Yeah, it kind of does. I see what you mean by that for sure. But I think it's really nice that they put, both games from, the Game Boy Advance in this one package. There's just a boatload of content. And it has, the map maker, it has online, it's not perfect online. I did play it a little bit. It's not perfect. I think Wargroove does the online a little bit better than Advance Wars, but this was just a really fun game and it surprised me so much.
Awesome. I'm happy that you enjoyed it. I have many things I want to say about it. It didn't crack my top 5 or probably even my top 10. To me, it was very much like a return trip to nostalgia. I got it because I loved Advance Wars. I played it until I got my hearts full, and then I moved on when other things came out. But I want to ask you this. Have you ever played Valkyria Chronicles?
I have not.
I just played that one this year. And
if you liked Advance Wars as much as you seemingly have, I would love for you to just give it a try. And a lot of times it's on sale. It's on Switch. It's remastered. You get Valkyria Chronicles 4, Valkyria Chronicles Remastered. You might be able to pick it up for like $5, $6, $7, $8.
Yeah,
I like Advance Wars because it wasn't very hard. It was very it's very simple mechanics. Okay, like this is like seriously so simple.
A little more advanced mechanics, a little more, but it has the reward of maybe slightly more advanced characters as well.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. Is there a baddie like Sammy?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to mention with Valkyria Chronicles, I didn't enjoy it so much, I guess, compared to you, Donnie.
It's just me.
Yeah.
Okay. I really I really like Valkyria Chronicles.
I think it's good. I think you're in the right direction.
Are you talking about Valkyria Chronicles 4 or just the original?
1.
I'm talking. I'm honestly, I'm really talking. 4 is my most recent.
Try out 4 because I hear it's
Yeah.
like much more modernized than
the
original one. Yeah. Cool.
So the thing about Valkyria Chronicles, Rebecca, is that you're doing the same thing, except when you go to attack, you are put in like a first-person mode where you actually can attack. Like you can aim and shoot things.
That sounds scary.
It's like
more
slightly
action-oriented.
more. It's definitely not. It's very anime. It's like it's just like it's a lot more actiony, and the characters have way more in-depth like stories.
Yeah.
It's like if you took
I kind of liked
and
how
Advance Wars and smashed them together, it would be Valkyria Chronicles.
Is it weird that I kind of liked how shallow the story was in Advance Wars? Like it was so corny.
It's very like
it was
very
so
on the nose and kind of
silly.
derpy.
Yeah. Like I kind of like that.
It's nice. It's very like comic-y for sure.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah,
like
that's
it.
my number 3.
All right. Now that we're down into our top 2, I think we should start having a little bit more crossover and maybe some fights. Number 2 for me is Tears of the Kingdom.
Ooh.
Oh, dang.
That's okay. That's good. That's a good spot for it.
What I just told you is for sure. I honestly think in hindsight, if I was making my list today, I may have put Resident Evil 4 over it. And it's just because I have more bones to pick with Tears of the Kingdom than Resident Evil 4. But I think the high for Tears of the Kingdom are higher than the highs for Resident Evil 4. I'm really torn on the two. I played Tears of the Kingdom for, I think, 85 hours. And for some of that time, I absolutely adored it and loved it. Finding the depths and doing all the things, I loved it. The ending, I've been on record and I stand still. My opinion has not changed. I think it's
Don't spoil it for Delvin.
It's my favorite ending in a Zelda game. I think it is my favorite final boss in a Zelda game.
Agreed.
I loved. But boy, is there a lot of grinding to get there. Like it is a lot of grinding to like it just feels like my ultimate thing on this game is it's 80% grind and 20% like story payoff. And it's like I just feel like the balance is not enough. Like I need more story to do this much grinding. Or I need to do less grinding to get this much story. It's like it just feels a little disjointed. But I mean, I definitely loved going back to Hyrule. I loved the Sky Islands. Like the design of the game, I thought they made great advancements in. The story is better than Breath of the Wild for sure. But the wonderment that I felt for Breath of the Wild is not the same. Mm-hmm. And that may just be that it's a sequel. We run into that all the time with sequels, especially sequels that we really love, like from games that we really love and get a sequel and it's like, oh, it's more of the same and stuff. I don't feel like Tears of the Kingdom is more of the same. But just that wonderment and that experience, that go find something that over that ridge, that enjoyment that I got from Breath of the Wild, that like that euphoric, enamored, I don't want to do anything else but play this. I did not feel about Tears of the Kingdom. It's not that special to me. Now that said, it's a great, like I played it for 80 plus hours. Like, so like with all my little bones to pick with it, I still played it more than most games and I still beat it and I still loved it. So that's why it's so high on my list. Well, but I feel like I really can't talk about Tears of the Kingdom if I don't express also how I felt about Breath of the Wild. And for me, maybe it's an outlier. I felt like a lot of people when this game came out were like, Breath of the Wild, who? This game destroys it. I'm not one of those people. If the Switch 2 releases and I can play remastered Breath of the Wild over Tears of the Kingdom, I will. Because Breath of the Wild is like that game for me that Tears of the Kingdom isn't. I won't go saying like, you know, there was a lot of people that are calling it DLC. It's definitely not, but like I kind of understand like the idea behind it because it just feels almost like an expansion. Like, and it's more of an expansion than a new thing. And honestly, that might just be because I wasn't there for like the Minecrafting thing, a part of it. Like this whole gigantic, like, and I loved watching the TikToks about it. That was hilarious. That was a great moment that we had this year. But yeah.
Well, let me piggyback off Donnie because Tears of the Kingdom is my number 2 this year too.
Wow.
And it's more like
3 and 2.
It's more like my 1B, and it's kind of I played 150 hours of it, and it's kind of the same reason Donnie said. I love it. I think it's amazing, but that grind.
It's just a lot of it.
It's a lot of grind to it. Like, you know, you got to go to the depths. You got to go find these things. And, you know, I need more hearts. I got to go to do these shrines.
Maybe I just don't see it as a grind. I see it as like, I really enjoyed doing like the depths was just so much fun for me.
It was at first.
Hours in the depths.
Like at first it was. I was there too. Fun. It was at first. And then it's like, you got to do so many light routes, so many shrines. Like it just kept adding.
You
There were
don't have
so
to
many.
do it all. You're going to be
Yeah,
strong
but
enough to fight Ganondorf by the
you don't
time you
have
get
to,
there.
but I did, and
Well, that's not my fault.
I feel like now I finally feel like I'm strong enough because I'm almost done with it now. I feel like I'm strong enough to get through the game, but most of my journey was feeling like, damn, I feel really underpowered. I felt myself saying, I feel really underpowered, and where the fuck do I go now? That was most of my experience with it. And yes, for the first 10, 20 hours, being like, where the fuck do I go? It was like, oh, this is good, cool exploring and stuff like that, figuring out stuff.
I honestly think. Sorry to interrupt you. I think it's the discovery that I'm missing, because it is the grind, but like I didn't mind the grind so much. I just feel like for the amount of story that you get, I feel like the grind far outweighs the amount of story. I felt like there should be more story in a game this big and this long. That's one. But the discovery part, the fact that we're back in Hyrule, and that like the cities are where they are, and like generally things are where they are, like all of that I got from the first time around felt missing. And I feel like that's maybe like why I'm wanting more story. I wanted more newness to it beyond like there's some islands in the sky and you can go underground.
And my thing was, I dug the Discovery. I thought the Discovery was cool. My whole thing was,
but you didn't play Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, see,
so that would be the difference. Like, see,
that's true.
I didn't have the Discovery because, like, literally, Hateno is exactly where it used to be. You know, like all the things are where they are. So
see, I dug the Discovery, but once I found the things, I'm like, come on, just like give me like a waypoint, or give me an easier way to get here. Like, I don't want to have to travel back here and stuff like that again. Like, just like make it a little easy. Like, it's like the little things in life there. Like, all right, I'm here now. Give me like a waypoint or something.
You gotta get on the shrine quest. They have those waypoints. You gotta get on this.
The shrines is cool, but just set it up for me. Like, when somebody says, "Hey, I need you to go over here and get something," Link, just put it on the map. Don't make me go look for the thing you have to tell me to do. Just put it on the map so I can just go. Don't have me have to figure out, all right, do I have to put an X here? Like, oh, do I have to put an X here? Oh, my X is two meters off, so I can't find the stupid thing I'm looking for. Like, no.
Delvin wants that old school Mirage experience.
Yeah, just tell me where it's at. Like, you've already told me. Just put it on the map. But even with that, like I said, I'm 150 hours in the game, and I'm loving it. I'm still loving it. I think it's fantastic. I'm almost done with everything. I've done most of the stuff. I'm just getting to that point where, like, all right, time to end this game now, but it's an amazing experience. And coming from somebody who did not like Breath of the Wild, for me to be like, this game's my number 2 game of the year, that says a lot.
I love that for you, Delvin.
It's an excellent canon. And I'll leave that then. It's excellent canon. That helps a lot.
I saw a little bit of it. Homies.
Don't look. Don't just go into it.
You got to get all your memories and stuff first.
I got all the memories. I got all that stuff.
He's ready. He's ready.
I'm ready. I got to the part where they're like, "Hey, go over here," and you go there like, "Ha ha, bitch, I got you." I'm like, "Oh!"
He just straight up smacks your ass. You're like, "Wait a minute, wait a minute."
Yeah, he's like, "Where your homies at?" Like, "Oh, they over there somewhere." I'm trying to be as as possible, but I like it.
Number 2.
Alan Wake 2.
Oh, nice.
Hey,
this is where the fights start.
No, that's fine. Hey, Delvin, I have a question. How could it be a game I haven't played?
She's entitled to her number 2, and nobody can tell her that she's wrong.
I can.
Watch me.
No. I'm gonna preface this with I have not finished it, but it is on my list.
Alan Wake would have been on my list if I got further into it. It 100%.
It is very good. I understand why Donnie does not like it. It is very slow. It does pick up like heavily, but I still think it would be too slow for Donnie. I totally
really
understand.
think a lot of people are like, this game is awesome because of the song. I'm just gonna. It needs to be fucking said. But I feel like a lot of people are like, they did a zany music video, game of the year. Like I think that goes a long way for a lot of people.
Yeah. Let me point out that like 90% of my TikTok For You page right now is people trying to learn that dance. So
dude, when you talk to people about like, why do you love Alan Wake? There are so many people who are like, did you see the video? I'm like, what about the game though? Like,
yeah.
There's a game?
Yeah. So
It
let me
really feels
point
like
out.
that sometimes. It
Let
really
me
does.
point out. I have not even gotten to that song yet, because of the way the game is structured. Which I don't know how far you played. So did you reach the point where you?
I got to that, and I was like, okay, now I know why people like
Don't
this
spoil
game,
too
and
much
this
for me.
isn't
I'm
the same
playing
for me.
Alan Wake remastered. By the
Yeah,
way.
no,
We're
I'm
not
not gonna
gonna-
do anything. I got to that
we're not
point,
gonna
and I was
spoil
like,
the story.
now I understand why so many people like this game. They just think it's crazy and zany, and like it's. I feel like I really do, and I'm sorry if that upsets people who are listening to this. I seriously feel like a lot of people are like, this is incredible, this cutscene, and they're like, great game of the year. I really do.
No. So the way that the game it starts, Garrett, there's no spoilers here, so you don't have to worry.
Yeah, go for it.
You play like 2 missions as Saga, which is the new character to the series. Then you play 3 as Alan. At that point, you are free to choose who you play as at any point. So you can do their story as you wish. Now, because I intend to platinum this game, I have been using a collectible guide to grab the collectibles as I go, so I don't have to go looking for them later, right? So I have been playing the way the collectible guide does. So I have not touched Alan since the game gave me free reign. So I have not even played. I've only done the first 3 missions you do as Alan, and the rest has all been Saga. I am getting to the point in the guide where it tells me the game is going to force me to play as Alan, because you cannot do the final mission in the game if you have not played all of Alan's stuff and et cetera, et cetera. But I've been following it. It's very, very good, at least to me. I love the Mind Palace thing. It's all really well explained, and like a lot of the like collectibles are very fun. Some of them make you do math. Like one of the collectibles is literally like, hey, here's a chest.
I like this game already.
All right, I'm out.
You might.
Sounds horrible.
No,
amazing.
it's
God, it is.
fun fact. I have not had to do math at all because the collectible guide goes, hey, here's your answer.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Fuck
But
that.
also,
Fun.
one of the chests that you can find, which is one of the collectibles, are like stashes of items over the thing. One of the things is like, here's the code. Like to unlock this thing, you will get the code by doing this equation. There are like 177 bicycles in this thing. How many wheels are there plus the cars? And like, and,
love it so much.
I've
You
seen
can
people
fuck off with that. Absolutely not.
I saw people on Twitter who were like, man, first game in like years to make me actually write down a math equation.
Fuck
And
about
I'm
like
like,
math, man.
Do your
No.
homework.
Oh yeah.
Nah,
Yeah.
fuck that.
Good.
No, like the game really like wants you to use its like investigation system. And I don't get me wrong, I've been doing it. And like, so Saga has the investigation system and Alan has the plot board. And man, do I not like Alan's plot board. That is my
I don't
only
like either
gripe.
damn boards. That's the point.
why
That's
is
the
it your
problem.
number
Is
2
they're
then?
like, hey, let's go
You
put
lost me
these
at
damn
math.
papers
No,
on the board and like.
why is it
put
my
the
number
pictures
2?
on it.
Why?
Yes. Yeah. Why is it your number 2?
Why is it my number 2? Because the story it's telling, once you put everything together, is really well crafted. That's why.
Okay, cool.
So like, the only reason I don't like Alan's plot board is because Alan's plot board allows you to put things in the wrong spot, whereas Saga's does not.
Yeah.
Saga's board will literally reject things if you put them in
There's only
the
like
wrong
one
spot.
place everything can go, so you don't have to really think about it too much.
Alan's will literally let you lock things into place and play through that whole scenario and then tell you it's wrong. And then you have to do that all over again.
Wow. Oh, interesting.
So that's why I don't
how-
like Alan's.
Interesting.
Is it
I
interesting?
wouldn't like to redo the level or whatever.
Oh, well, but you
What
will.
is
So-
this plot board? You
so-
put like a sticky note somewhere?
Oh,
or
but you
what?
will. Yeah.
That's
Spot on,
exactly
no.
it. Like it's a sticky note that says, "Here's the plot point. Set the scene," and it'll give you like 4. Like you'll unlock locations as you progress through Alan's world. Because like Saga is in Bright Falls, which you know from the first game because
Yes.
you're playing.
Yeah.
Alan is. I'm not spoiling where
upside
he
down.
is, but no, essentially.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
Alan's
Yes.
Alan's
You don't have
world
to do
is,
the whole damn breakdown of the Yes.
no.
Continue.
But I'm saying it's a stylized New York is what I was trying to say.
I appreciate that Donnie has not pushed back on any game listed.
Dude, look. I'm sorry. I'm gonna interrupt you, Haley. I'm sorry. It does need to be
it's
said.
fine.
I don't have buyer's remorse. I get it. I don't even think it's. I'm not saying it's bad or anything. What did I tell you on PSVG? I told you exactly. I understand. I think I understand why people love this. The people that love this game love it. I think I understand why. And what I think if you play games to have a cinematic entertainment experience, if you want to be wowed like a movie and a script and like that's why you play games, this is going to be your fucking favorite game ever. Because of like the fourth wall and the shit that they're doing, you're gonna be like, this is an incredible experience.
Yeah.
But just know that a lot of that experience is you just watching cutscenes. Like if we were giving Game of the Year to cutscene the game, Alan Wake 2 wins hands down. But it is cutscene the game. It is that. Like I feel like that's very objectionable. Like it is a cutscene the game.
Otherwise, visual novels are a genre, Donnie.
True, you are very right. It's like I kind of think it'd be better. It might be a better movie than a video game.
That's what I said about Fort Solis.
Yeah. So let me point out that this is exactly why I said I understand why Donnie's just not a fan of it, because he's right. It is cutscene the game, but the cutscenes and the story they're telling
are good. I agree with you. They are good.
Very good.
But man, there were so many times you're just like jogging around, picking up notes, and fucking doing the gameplay is on a dry erase board. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, really? Fucking do stuff.
Really
and so because Garrett, you're playing Alan Wake 1, you'll know that combat is very heavy in Alan Wake 1.
It's pretty heavy.
Yeah,
it is.
It's not as
it
much.
is less
Not
emphasized
okay, cool.
here in 2.
Yeah.
There's way less.
And for the record, allow me to say I like Alan Wake 1 a lot more.
Yeah.
It's more game. It's more stuff. You're in control of the character more.
As Donnie affectionately states, anytime anybody in the Discord asks, ask Haley. She's the Wake aficionado.
There you go.
I definitely kick people that way. Like, you don't want me. You don't want me answering.
No, you don't.
Yeah. Go ask Haley. Haley knows, and I'm like, I do. No, I've always loved Alan Wake. The first one is very good. This one is also very good. My only gripe, like I said, is that Alan's board allows you to put things in the wrong spot, and that's just a whole lot.
I think the easiest way to explain this in like really simple terms, dude, if you liked Quantum Break, which I didn't, which Haley loves.
I love Quantum
Break. If you like Quantum Break, do you freaking love Alan Wake 2? Like it is so much it's the best Quantum Break you've ever thought of.
Yep.
Like, and that's literally it.
Let me point out the ending you get in the main game, like in the first playthrough, that changes when you do New Game Plus. The ending.
See, the thing that hurt a little bit is that I did not like Quantum Break, literally like almost at all. But I adored Control.
Control.
I remember talking about with
it
Kyle
is very good,
and I was so excited for Alan Wake 2 coming off of Control, like and just got into Alan Wake 2, and I was like, oh, this isn't at all.
You wanted
the
control remedy. You got
kind of. I was like, this isn't at all. And even the sadder part is the first, like the intro. I was like, this is going to be incredible. That even got the expectations even higher. And then just going to go. It just went down.
That intro is very Twin Peaks.
It's really good.
It's very Twin Peaks. Yeah. No, like, and also like as pointed, Sam Lake has repeatedly gone on to say that like he just went wild with this one, and you could tell because
you can.
Yeah, he's having the time of his life with this game.
It's a beautiful game. I'm not like anti the. I don't think the game's bad. It's
no. Game. Yep, I'm really excited for the DLC that's coming. So
I got to the damn music number, and I was like, okay, now I get it.
You were done.
No, it wasn't I done. It was like, apparently this is all that needs to happen. If you just blow people's minds with a music video, Game of the Year.
By the way, I want to point out the music video in the game is longer than the music video they did on stage. It's like 10 minutes in the game. It is. On stage, it was 4. There is literally like 8 minutes of that thing. I know that. I haven't gotten there, but I know that.
I know this. This reference might be lost on Garrett, so my apologies, Garrett. But Donnie, if rather than having like the boards, it was a vagina like narrating the game to you, would you think it's better?
Yes,
I mean,
you
if it
would.
was as cool as Cookie Cutters was, maybe.
Yeah.
Dude, Cookie Cutter's so good. I had no idea that I was in for the store for like a talking vagina, and it is fucking awesome. It's so good. You guys have got to play it
You just
instantly.
said many things, Donnie.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
You gotta play it.
You
yeah,
missed
Listen to
that
me.
earlier.
Listen to me.
You,
Cookie Cutter is so meaty. There's so much
Whoa.
flesh. There's so,
Just when you
so
saying
meaty.
that when we're talking about a talking vagina.
Hey,
You gotta play it. It's so good. It's so good. You gotta play it. It's rad. It's a rad fucking game. Raddest game of the year without by far. It's awesome.
Hey, that sure is a sentence.
It's an action platformer, like a little
No, I
Metroidvania.
know.
These are games that I think
Okay.
most of us here enjoy.
Yeah,
Raddest
yeah.
game
Cookie
of the
Cutter's
year.
cool, man. You gotta play it. Give it a try. I think you'll love it,
All
Rebecca.
right.
I really do. It's
Okay.
cooler than what you're hearing me say. If you have no idea, if you haven't seen the trailer of this game, I'm telling you, it's cooler than you think. Think of it neon inspired droids and shit. It's awesome. It's
Yeah,
really good.
it looks
Bagels.
great, but I love.
Bagels,
Yes.
number 2.
Oh no, but Garrett, go.
He did Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
his
right.
was-
Sorry.
yeah.
Sorry, I'm drinking.
No,
Garrett.
all good. My number 2. I'll be quick because I don't think anyone else really knows too much about this game, or maybe you do. This is actually, it came out 1998, a PS1 survival horror RPG,
Clock Tower.
Parasite Eve.
Oh, that's one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah, Parasite Eve is
yeah,
dope.
dude.
Yeah.
I played through it
cool.
for the first time this year. It's not like any other RPG I've ever played before.
It's so good.
It's so good, and I'm so surprised that I haven't seen anything like this, like currently, like a survival horror. Think of Resident Evil, but let's put in some RPG mechanics in there.
Uh-huh.
Let's put a level up system
Yep.
in there.
Sure.
Let's put some combat in. Like it's very much like Transistor, where like you kind of like have to stop and then shoot certain monsters in like this isometric view. It's so cool the way the combat is flowing. I love the story of this game too, and the different characters. I like how it's set. It's kind of grounded because it's in New York City, set in like Christmas time, and then like the science behind it is like teetering on between supernatural and sciencey and some logic in there. Overall, I really much enjoyed it. Also, they completely destroyed New York City, and that game wouldn't fly before 9/11. So
Very
I haven't played this
gruesome
in
game.
so long.
Very violent game.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember it being very
Exactly.
hard.
It is.
But I played it damn near 25 years ago.
I think it can be hard if you don't do as much encounters. It really
You gotta
depends on
grind.
how many.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to grind at least a little bit. I think it turned out well for me because I just didn't know where to go. So I just ended up maps where it kind of respawn monsters.
Now, this
I'm
is like
okay,
that.
kind of go through it.
This is that survival horror Rushmore from that time.
Yeah.
You know, it was Resident Evil, it was Clock Tower, it was Dino Crisis, it was Parasite Eve, and everybody wants those games to come back.
Parasite
Yeah.
Eve needs a remake.
Silent Hill,
100%.
we definitely can't leave outside.
Somehow.
All of those, like they
Yeah.
were, it wasn't just survival horror. Like that was like a huge part of like third party video games at the time.
Yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
first person shooters, platformers, and those.
Yeah.
You know, like
Parasite
you are a
Eve,
huge part of the entire industry, and a
Par-
lot of people want Parasite Eve to come back.
Parasite Eve
Mhm.
stood out because it was an RPG
Different,
survival
yeah.
horror game, and it was just so different and unique, and it was set in modern times. It was just such a cool game, and
Yeah.
I love that
I
game
definitely
so
enjoyed it.
much.
I lived with my foster family at the time. My foster dad was playing it. We would play it together. So,
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Such a great game.
Mhm.
Anyways, that's my number 2. It really
Nice.
stood out to me this year. So
Great number 2.
Oh.
Love it.
I want a remake.
Kyle,
Man, Parasite Eve was so good.
it was.
So my number 2 is also another crossover, and I just wanted to make Donnie have to talk about it more because my number 2 is Alan Wake 2.
Uh-oh.
All I'm going to say about it,
Boom.
all I'm going to say about it is y'all can
That's
keep Kojima.
rich.
Give me Sam Lake all day, every day. You can keep Kojima. I don't ever need another game from him ever again. Just
I'd
give me
keep
Sam Lake in my veins constantly. But what I like about the game is at the end of like every chapter as we were going through it, I was like, huh. And then I would just keep going. Like that was like my entire experience playing that game is just answering that question. And it definitely is, you know, I obviously, like we talked about, I loved Control. Like I adored Control.
Yeah.
And you know, this is definitely a change from that, and it's a change from the original Alan Wake 2, which I really, really enjoyed. But there was enough there. It was just bizarre enough and just weird enough to keep me going. yeah, I have nitpicks about the gameplay and things like that, but the story that I was telling, how it was trying to tell it, the risks that it was taking, I appreciate a big swing, even if not everything lands. And I think that's what he did here. He took a big swing. Not everything lands, but enough of it does that really pulled me along. I kind of played it like a TV show. Like I get to the end of a chapter, and I was like, that was cool, and I would put it down, and maybe even 2 days later, I would come back and I would play like another chapter of it.
It's a good idea.
So yeah, I really loved it. I thought Alan Wake 2 was great. Definitely understand that it does sometimes feel like pushing a boulder up a hill just to get through what the heck's trying to go on in the story. But I had a great time with it. So Alan Wake 2, my number 2.
Great choice. Well, I think it's a great choice.
If you got nothing good to say, right? Like if you got nothing nice to say, like I'm just gonna next number 2.
My number 2 is Alan Wake 2.
Oh my God.
I love it.
I love it.
I just
Sorry.
back around. Haley's like number 1. Delvin's like number 1. Just like oh my God.
No, my number 2 is another game that at the beginning of the year I said I wanted to give this game a chance, and I did not think I would ever rate it this high. And I'm a little disappointed that I did not hear this game on anybody else's lists this year. Is Pikmin 4. Can we talk about Pikmin 4? This is another one that I begrudgingly reviewed. I was asked to review it, and I'm like, I had panic attacks playing Pikmin 3. Do I really want to do this? But I am a people pleaser, and I said yes. You know, and I couldn't get into the Pikmin franchise before this, and this game was the most perfect introduction to the franchise. You know, I think the dog companion Ochi had a big part in that. Oh my gosh, he makes the game so stress-free. It made a big difference. The world is gorgeous. The levels, holy crap, so many inspired levels, like inside the house, the beach level, just so beautiful. Kind of game that I like to walk around and just look at things and, you know, kind of see the area. It looked like, you know, just so unusually photorealistic for a Nintendo game. You know, I think the environments are very photorealistic, while the characters
I feel like that's Pikmin's kind of legacy. I mean, Pikmin 3
it
is
is.
definitely
It
that way,
is.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's always been that way. It just looks really good on the Switch.
It's really
it really
nice.
pushes the Switch's hardware, you know,
especially when we see like Advance Wars and the other thing, like Pikmin 4 is like a night and day difference from those things.
Yes. Yes. You know, and I like the underground area. I haven't played Pikmin 2, but I heard it is very much like Pikmin 2. I need to go back and play that one because, you know, it's very similar with the underground areas. Time doesn't move when you're underground, so it was very stress-free. I was able to take my time and find everything that I needed to find. And, you know, there's so much post-game content in this game that I have not even finished everything that I want to do in it. This is something that I'm going to pick up probably, you know, a little bit later on next year, maybe. You know, and it's just such a happy game. And I liked the defense mechanic that they had with like the glow Pikmin, the night expeditions. You know, that seemed like it was a pretty cool mechanic. I do like bingo battles in Pikmin 3 better than the Dandori battles in this one, but I would be remiss if I did not say that I use the phrase Dandori issue instead of skill issue on pretty much a daily basis. You know, so Pikmin 4, I am representing the Pikmin franchise here. It deserves the love and recognition in the Game of the Year conversation. So there it is, number 2.
I think that's the next Switch game I'll get.
You should really try it. Nice. Yep.
My son keeps telling me I should play that one. So that's great.
It's gorgeous. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. Mm-hmm.
So here we are, the final round, our number 1s. I'll kick it off. Super Mario Wonder is my favorite game that I've played this year.
Not Alan Wake? Okay.
It's definitely not Alan Wake. Super Mario Wonder is honestly, it's a representative. It's like a representation of why I get into video games. It makes me feel like a kid again. It's so much fun, just smiling from ear to ear. I've talked about Unshack a lot. I will be quick on it, and I'll just regurgitate the same take that I've always had. I honestly was probably under the impression earlier in the year when we were clamoring of a 3D Mario game coming out versus 2D Mario. We thought there was a Mario game out there. Rebecca, remember we were talking about the Mario movie? Rebecca was like, there's definitely a game out there. I was thinking maybe there wasn't any Mario game. We're talking about Mike Minotti. He was like, it's definitely 3D Mario. That's the next one. I was like, but 2D Mario just feels so safe. I never thought I would encounter a 2D Mario game that I would put on the pedestal, on the Rushmore of 2D Mario. I honestly never thought that would come again. And I like and have strongly defended the new Super Mario Bros. Line that people have clamored and hated on for a long
I
time.
don't know why.
Because I think they're excellent games. And I get that they're kind of samey, but I still think they're excellent. I think they have great, excellent designs and stuff. I just never thought I would find a 2D Mario game that I was like, this is on par with Super Mario World and Super Mario 3.
Yeah.
And the hell if we didn't
Wow.
find one. Like, it just hit. It is every bit as good as those games. And I'm not telling you it's better or worse, but it is every bit deserving to sit next to those. And I just feel like that's such a high watermark after all these years and all the games have come out. Like, it exceeds every preconceived notion I ever had for a Mario game. And I couldn't stop playing it. It stopped me from playing games that I was knee deep in Cyberpunk, one of my favorite games this entire generation. Wanted the Phantom Liberty so bad, got it, was playing it, and Mario crushed it. I was like, I cannot even get back to Cyberpunk right now. I am playing Mario Wonder. And it's great that they named it Wonder because it's full of wonderment. There's so many times I was just staring at screen and just, this is incredible. And, the anecdote that I shared often is I played Mario 3D World with my daughter. And we played it together in trade controllers. God, it feels like 10 years ago. And we really haven't played games since. She doesn't play games anymore. My daughter walked by one night when I was playing it, and she was like, is this the new Mario game? And I was like, yeah. And she sat down and played with me. And that's all she had to do was just see it. She just saw it. And she was like, I got to play it. And I think
Mario really has that universal appeal that, you see it, you want to play it kind of game.
But if it was a new Super Mario Bros. Game, she wouldn't have. She would have been like, I've been there. I've done that. It was the fact that she saw this one and it was like a musical level and all the crazy shit that was happening. She was like, wait a minute, I have to stop what I'm doing and kind of take serve of this. She wanted to experience this game.
That's beautiful.
And yeah, I mean, if I was a video game reviewer, this would have been the only 10 out of 10 game that I handed out this year. So I think I have nothing bad to say about it at all. Not even a little bit. I don't care about the bosses. I don't care about any of the things that people want to say. None of it, I think, is consequential to the experience that the game is. And I love it. So Mario Wonder is my top game of the year.
There you go. All right,
Ready?
Haley, give us your number two. Oh, no, number one.
Alan Wake. she's doubling down. Actually,
Yeah,
Donnie,
Alan
I
Wake
like it
2.
so much. It's 1 and 2.
No, you know damn well my number one is Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
I put over 100 hours into that game. I still haven't finished this one either. In fact, I actually recently restarted from the beginning because with one of the most recent patches, they changed the way that one of the companions could be recruited. So I'm no spoilers in case anyone else intends to play it. There was a companion you could only get on evil runs. They've now changed it so that this companion can be recruited on good playthroughs. But I had killed them because
no,
They were
That's
talking
kind
shit.
of a bummer. They
they
should
gotta
have
go.
it where you could have to play evil.
Even.
like that I had killed them, and after the change, I was like, all right, I guess I'm restarting so I can recruit them now. And I
Should've been
have.
talking shit. That's all to it.
Right? Yeah.
Should have left it how it was.
I can't say why they were only on an evil run without spoilers, and I don't want to spoil the game for people. So no, it's very good. My first playthrough, I played like a custom character, which is referred to as Tav. The second one is still custom, except I'm doing Dark Urge this time, which is
Nice.
which is a Larian creation with the help of Wizards of the Coast. And it's very good. I am in fact already back to where I was in my original playthrough, but as the Dark Urge. And before anyone goes, well, how long did that take you? About 40 hours. So I really enjoy it. I'm still, in fact, romancing Shadowheart.
Good job.
Horse.
before Delvin goes. Who you fucking?
Yes,
That's
the
the
horse,
question.
the Skyrim
Horse?
horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am in fact romancing Shadowheart still. I have fully delved into one of the things that you unlock. I won't say without spoilers. You get some cool powers, but there's one little drawback to them. I managed to survive a roll to not have the drawback, so that was very nice. I just, as someone who's always wanted to play D&D, like knows the rules for D&D, but never has any way to like actually play the tabletop game, having this is just great. So it's been a blast. And y'all know that I'm not really a big turn-based combat girl, but I loved this, and Garrett's going to be very happy about this, but I also loved Midnight Suns. So
Heck yeah.
Midnight Suns.
That's awesome.
So we're saving
Midnight
honorable
Suns.
mentions, right?
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
we are, yeah.
Yes.
But
Okay.
like I'm just pointing out that like I've really only played 2 turn-based games, and that's this and Midnight
they're great.
Suns. Yeah. And I really enjoyed my time with this, and I'm probably going to put multiple playthroughs into it forever. So
Nice.
All right, Delvin. Detective
My-
Pikachu time.
Yes, it
There it
is.
is.
Heck
My
yeah.
game of the year is the guy with the hat.
The guy with the hat.
No, it's Spider-Man 2.
Nice.
I love it. I love the world building. I love the fact that the game feels like Insomniac's own version of Spider-Man without kind of retreading the same things that all the movies and the other mediums of Spider-Man comics do. It's kind of its own thing, and I kind of really dig this universe. I kind of dig that there's consequences in this universe. Like, hey, characters that you know and love are going to die. New characters are going to show up. New things are going to happen. It's just such a vast and cool experience with it, and I really dug the direction they're going with. I love the living, breathing city of New York. I love that there's 2 Spider-Mans defending it that have 2 very different stories, and I love that. I love the little things that they do to kind of add on to. I love the fact that you could be fighting with Miles at one point, and all of a sudden Peter will just randomly show up to help you, and then just leave. Like, all right, you're looking out by. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. He just shows up and helps you leave. I love that the little moments like that. And it's not like a spoiler of a game. Like, that's just something that just happens in the game. Like, you'll be playing and you'll be in a fight and he'll just show up. And I love that how there are so many different things to do in this game that are just so cool and fun. And there are so many surprising elements and things that'll surprise you. Much like a lot of the PlayStation games, it's kind of the same game as the first one, but they expand on it so much more. It brings so many different elements to it. It's just like, all right, this is what we've been waiting for. And this, I love that the villain in the game, the major bad guys are a legit threat. I know, like, there's Venom, of course. Spoilers. It's not really spoilers. Everybody knows it's a damn statue of it. I love the way they portrayed Venom. I love the way they portrayed who was the other guy? Can't remember his name right now. Kraven the Hunter. Kraven the Hunter.
Yeah.
Feels like a threat.
stop.
Yeah.
How do you forget who Kraven is?
Because I just went blank for a second. Now I just remembered it right now. Kraven feels like a threat in this game. And when you've had so many Spider-Man games and a lot of characters feel kind of jokey and stuff like that, you have Kraven. He feels like someone who is a legit badass. He feels like he can take out people, and they do it in such a cool way. And they make him feel like he should be one of Marvel's top villains, which he, frankly speaking, is not.
No. Also, Kraven is no condiment king.
Yes, he's no condiment king.
Delvin is the only one who gets that reference, by the way.
Yes.
So.
Yes. But the way they did Kraven in this game feels a lot more closer to him in the classic comics, and it's a different take on him, but he feels like a badass. And he
also will feel different from that Kraven movie that's coming that nobody asked for. So
no one wants that shit. But I just love the way they kind of turned his head on the Spider-Man universe, and they bring in characters that you wouldn't expect to like, and you kind of like, and they give characters like different arcs. They make Mary Jane useful in the game. They're like, all right, here you go. people who didn't like the Mary Jane missions.
Mary
They
Jane
are-
is just John Wick. That's what Mary Jane is. She's just John Wick.
Pretty much. I
Yeah.
like that they're like, hey,
They literally heard the complaint. Oh, you don't like the Mary Jane missions? Okay, how about we make her John Wick? Do you like them now?
yeah,
That's literally like she is straight up just John Wick.
I kind of dig that. I kind of dig that there are like moments in the game where you're like, that's really cool. And I dig that there's like these weirdly quiet, fun moments in the game that you don't expect, but it kind of fits the Spider-Man universe. Like, I didn't expect to be doing this, but this is really cool that they added this in there. They're like really like touching moments that you kind of experience and like, oh, this feels like what would happen in the comics. So yeah, I really dug this game, and I feel like I'm really interested to see what Insomniac does with all these Marvel properties, and if they can kind of give them each their own unique feel and kind of like carry on this tradition. I hope they're all connected. I hope that all these Marvel games are connected in some way, and I really dig what they're doing so far with them. I think it's dope.
Cool.
So that's my number one. I guess you're up, Garrett.
All right. My number one, I think no surprise here, Octopath Traveler 2 is my game of the year.
That's one that I have not heard enough people talking about for game of the year, like especially surrounding the Game Awards. Totally snubbed.
I think they got it did not get nominated for RPG, which kind of I think they got snubbed on that one. But yeah, I was very surprised about this game because I played the original one, the first one in 2018, and it was good, but there is definitely some shortcomings with it, and it was a little boring in the middle, very slow paced, and so I kind of dropped off. And then so this game came around. It's like, oh, I may or may not like it. And then reviews came out, and everyone's just blowing up. It's like, hey, this is really good, cream of the crop type of game. So I was like, all right, let me go for it. I got it, on sale, played on my Steam Deck, and I was just completely in love with it. This game is absolutely like the top of, let's say, turn-based combat. Like, it took every good parts from traditional RPGs and just molded into one thing that, like, I don't think anything can top it in terms of turn-based combat. It's just so good. And the visual aspect, yes, it's so good. The visual aspect is very well done as well. They did a really good job of just enhancing what was already great on the first game. And I think what they improved the most was the individual storylines of these 8 different characters. It's still disconnected, so you're not getting a linear story, but they did do a fantastic job at like giving you a very well received story in each of these arcs. In each character, it can be super dark, it can be super grim, but it can be super light. And then the writing just runs circles around Sea of Stars. Like, it's funny, I played Octopath Traveler 2 and then I played Sea of Stars. I'm like, oh man, I can tell the difference between the writing between these two. But anyways, I just top to bottom, man, Octopath Traveler 2, such a great turn-based game. If anyone is a traditional RPG turn-based fan, you owe it to yourself to try this one out because it's just so good. So there you go.
That's awesome.
That's my game of the year, Octopath Traveler 2.
You have the con, Kyle.
I haven't had the chance to play Octopath Traveler 2 yet. It's on my short list of things to play, but I will say I've listened to the crap out of that soundtrack.
Yeah, it's so good.
It is so good. Like, I'm like, no context for any of this, but this is amazing. So probably no surprise, my fanboy hat is on. My number one game of the year is Marvel's Spider-Man 2.
Nice.
Got the platinum in 27 hours, was smiling the entire 27 hours, and that is basically the reason why this is my favorite game of the year. I think Insomniac has probably been, other than maybe Mojang, probably the best like individual studio purchase anyone who's made. Like, I think that studio has paid dividends for Sony over and over again, especially in the PlayStation 5 generation.
Definitely this generation for sure.
So I just am impressed at the level of quality that they're able to put. That's the soundtrack for that game also is pretty incredible, but it was just a great time taking the things from one, taking out the stuff that didn't work so well, adding in some new things, refining to get to a point where, like I said, it's almost to the point where it's a little over smooth, right? Things are a little too good sometimes. I know some people had issues from like a bug standpoint. I didn't run into any of those. But yeah, I had a fantastic time with it. And look forward to the next Spider adventures, whatever they happen to be. So Marvel Spider-Man 2, currently my game of the year.
Nice. Rebecca. Round us out.
I mean, it's no surprise that mine is Tears of the Kingdom for a lot of the reasons that we already talked about, and I've talked about it extensively on the podcast as I've been playing it. But this game, in short, has made, and I know, Donnie, you disagree with this, but it makes Breath of the Wild feel irrelevant in a lot of ways to me. I'll never forget the first time I played Breath of the Wild, and just the feeling of that experience was special at the time. But I think Tears of the Kingdom just did so many things that build on that experience and make it bigger and better. Like you said, that final battle really just seals it for me. The best ever. My jaw on the floor. Like, I don't know how I didn't see that coming, but
we talked about it on chat.
So memorable.
Without that battle, I would have come hot on that game. Like, so hot. Hot take, like Mario Odyssey Donnie would have showed up again like villain, and that battle went like that final segment went so far. I'd be like, okay, it's a really great game.
I also just really like the characters that they introduced, especially the Zonai characters like Rauru and
you were early on that stuff too. You've been talking,
Yeah.
you've been helping me for years understand the Zonai stuff.
That
I'm like,
random
they
word,
didn't go,
Zonai.
They're like,
they
what
didn't
are
go
we
quite
talking
in the
about here,
direction
guys?
that
Yeah.
I thought they would with it, but they did, they did go into the history of that, with characters. But I like the memories significantly more in this game than I
big
did in Breath of the
improvement, sure.
Wild. And I think there are definitely some story criticisms, with how passively everything is told. I think that's always been a weak point for Zelda. The story has always been implicitly told. It's never really been as outright, as a lot of other games. But
It's definitely not a narrative game. It's like, it's not what drives the combat.
Yeah. And it's not a perfect game by any means. I do have, bones to pick on it, but just the amount of time that I spent in it, in that world, and, just what it means to me overall, of course, it has to be my game of the year.
I agree. Honestly, I almost felt like beholden to put it where I did because of the amount of time spent. For any bones that I had to pick about it, like, I still played it as long as I did. We were talking about a game that I played probably 8 times longer than I played Resident Evil. And not that like should matter, but like when you're like accounting, you're making lists, like it does kind of factor in for me. It's like,
there's a reason why you spend so much time with a game.
There's a
because
reason.
it pulls you
Exactly
in.
right. It's like, I really enjoyed it for a large part. Gripes aside, I still kept playing it for a long time. It can't be nearly as bad as the gripes I have with it make it sound, or otherwise I wouldn't have kept playing as long as I did. So that's a big reason why it still had that lasting power at the top of my list. Plus the ending. Right, I put it up there. It was number 1 all year long until Wonder came along. It was number 1, and literally coming into like September, I would stare at it and I'd be like, "This cannot be your number 1 game of the year." Like, you have so many issues with it, but like, it was like when I finished the game, I put it number 1, and I never topped it. And then Mario Wonder came along, so
yeah,
fun. Well, we did it. We did our top 5 games of the year. Now I want to get into. Quickly, we'll do a round robin on our honorable mentions and games you didn't play, because I think that's important to mention. If people at home are listening and they're hearing our top 5 and they're like, "Oh, my game didn't make the list," maybe we didn't play it. So I'll start off and I'll just give you a couple. The ones that were just in the outs of my list were Dead Island 2, The Crew Motorfest, Warhammer Bolt Gun, Metroid Prime Remastered, and Dredge. Games I did not play this year. One that I specifically really wanted to play was Bayonetta Origins. Just never got to it. Haven't caught the sale yet. I also didn't play like so many games that everybody loved. I didn't play Final Fantasy. I didn't play Street Fighter. I didn't play Mortal Kombat. I didn't play Star Wars Survivor. I didn't play Diablo. I didn't play Fort Solis. I didn't play Immortals. Like, so many of these games that were, I never played Baldur's Gate. Game of the year. Never played it. Never thought about it. Didn't play Starfield. So if you were like, where are these games on Donnie's list? I didn't play them. They either weren't appealing to me or I didn't get to them. So most of these are not appealing to me. I want to play Bayonetta and I want to play Street Fighter. What about you, David?
Honorable mentions for me. Ones that were like, again, just inside my list. Resident Evil 4, really enjoyed it, but like other stuff this year like really took it for me. Cyberpunk, like the whole experience, not just Phantom Liberty. Like Phantom Liberty came out, and then I got swamped with a bunch of game releases, and I have not played Phantom Liberty, but I've played a bunch of Cyberpunk. 2.0 really changed the game, and I'm actually playing like a completely different character than I normally do. I'm speccing into like melee fighting with my fists because I have the flaming gorilla arms, and
that's a thing.
And I have a shotgun. It's only got 2 shots, but it explodes people real good, like actual explosions. So it's really nice. And also games I did not get. Sorry, one more honorable mention. This is from last year, but again, Midnight Suns. I still haven't finished that game, but it's very good. And the DLC for it was really good as well. I really like Deadpool and Venom as characters. Didn't really get to try out Storm though, or Morbius, but we can throw Morbius into a dark hole and he never exists. And games I didn't get to play. I started it, but the way that like my work schedule crept up on me here in December, I played like 2 hours of Final Fantasy 16. I had no time to play that, and I was renting it from the library, and it's gone back because there were 5 other people waiting to play it. So
it's crazy. If and when I get a PlayStation 5, like that's the game that I'd probably get. That's like and I've never played a Final Fantasy and have spent a large amount of my time on this earth making fun of that franchise.
Final Fantasy 16 is Devil May Cry.
It calls me, right? I love Devil May Cry, and I'm like, I look at it, and I'm like, I want to play that fucking
It
game.
is absolutely Devil May Cry, and I knew
it's
that
not
like,
an RPG. It's Devil May Cry.
And I love art. Yeah. It calls to me like I want to play it. I really do.
Didn't really get a chance to play that.
I'm basically waiting out. It's like, do I get a console and get the game, or do I just wait for the PC version? Like I'm just whichever deal comes along
out
first.
Early next year.
Yeah.
I bet you. Yeah.
And I have not put enough time into this, but so it's like a mix of haven't played and honorable mention. Immortals of Avium. I'm like 8 missions in. It's very fun, very quippy though, in a way that like some people are gonna love it, some people are gonna go, this is worse than an MCU movie in regards to quips. Like Delvin Jr. has already told me, oh, so I would hate it then, and I'm like, yeah, probably, because it's very quippy.
Is the Delvin Jr. honorable mention?
Yeah.
When does he join PSVG? How many more years until he comes in aboard as a team member?
Not too long. Not too long.
Yeah, right. He's
18.
Right there.
Yeah.
What are you about, Delvin?
Garrett, what do you mean 18? He's already 18.
He just turned 18.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, he just turned 18.
Momentarily.
Yeah, so probably next year. My honorable mentions: Callisto Protocol, which I enjoyed a lot.
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate, which I still want to get to. I'm into it. I'm enjoying it. Alan Wake 2, which I still have to get more into. I like that one a lot as well. And let me see. There's a couple more. There's a few. There's a lot of honorable mentions that I kind of really dig. That I can't just think of off the top of my head. But there's a lot of games that just came out this year that I just really dug. Oh, Planet Alana, of course. Planet Alana is an amazing game that I really, really dug a lot playing this year. It was one of my surprise games of the year that I just kind of got into and really, really just dug the story. And if I remember correctly, I was out of town and I spent my whole time just playing that game. I was supposed to be in Disney World. I was like, nah, I want to play this. Like, I got out of Disney World. Like, all right, I'm out of Disney World. Like, all right, I want to finish this game up. It was kind of that experience. It was just such an amazing game, man. I really dug it. All right, now the games I didn't really get to play this year, Starfield is one. I only played the first hour of that. I really want to get back to Starfield because I kind of want to see what the hubbub's about with that. I kind of dug it. Dead Space. That's the other big one I really want to get into because I love the original one, but just haven't had time. And last but certainly not least, Final Fantasy 16. I gotta hunker down and play that one. But this year has kind of been weird because Tears of the Kingdom has taken up 90% of my game time. So it's like, yeah,
I just realized you can see Blue craning his head in my camera.
Oh.
I see Blue. Hi, Blue.
All right.
Yeah,
Cool. All right.
So,
Garrett?
honorable mention right outside my number 5. This is number 6 for me. Final Fantasy 16, the only PS5 game I've completed. this year, and I fully recommend it to you, Donnie. It is literally the most actiony non-RPG I ever played, and it's the only Final Fantasy game I finished.
Super production platinum game. When I look at it, I'm like, God, I want to play that game so
Platinum
bad.
helped on one boss too.
If it wasn't named Final Fantasy, I'd have bought a console for it.
Yeah. So I love that game a lot. And then so other honorable mention, I played As Dusk Falls.
Ooh, I love that game.
Mm-hmm. And then on Switch, I played Super Mario RPG. I just wrapped that up. Shining Force on the Nintendo Switch Online, and then Live Alive and Fire Emblem Engage.
Forgot all about Live Alive. That was a thing.
Yeah, that was a thing.
Yeah.
That was last year.
Yeah, it was last year. Games that there's so many games I want to get to, but here's kind of like what's forefront of my mind: Baldur's Gate 3, Hogwarts Legacy, Diablo 4, Wargroove 2. That just slipped under the radar.
Yes,
just out of nowhere.
Good call.
And Persona 5 Tactica, I'm currently playing right now.
That's how great this year was. That I'm literally reading off like marquee games: Diablo, Street Fighter, Final Fantasy. Never even touched them. Baldur's Gate. That's how good this year was. Yeah,
definitely
really good. Kyle.
All right, so honorable mentions. These are all things that when I wrote down my initial list, these were all the games I was thinking about. So the things that made it make the top 5: Humanity, Final Fantasy 16, which is just because I haven't quite finished it yet. Sea of Stars is in the same boat because I haven't quite finished it yet. Dead Island 2, Diablo 4, and then kind of because it was cheating, Horizon Forbidden West, the Burning Shores DLC. I was like,
nice.
Burning Shores is really good as well.
So yeah. And then for games you didn't play, so anything on Switch. I don't think I even turned my Switch on this year, not for lack of desire, just lack of time. My PlayStation gaming was like a third of what it was like a year ago. So anything there, Baldur's Gate 3, and then the two other things that I really want to have played but haven't are actually Octopath Traveler 2 and Star Ocean Second Story are the things I think might have had a chance had I gotta
play that one too. Did you play the demo?
I did play the demo, and that's why I was
really
like,
good.
Oh man, I think that maybe this might have made it. So yeah.
Did you play the original?
I never did play the original. No,
and neither did I. That demo is gorgeous. I know everything is said. Like that might be the prettiest game of the year I've seen. That demo, I played the demo, and I was like, I gotta get this game.
Yeah.
And I don't even know anything about it, or I don't even play games like it. And I was like, I gotta get this game.
Yeah.
This game is so pretty. Dex?
My honorable mentions. I know Garrett talked about Super Mario RPG. I don't think anybody, unless I missed it, talked about Metroid Prime Remastered in the beginning of the year. Go back and look at side-by-side screenshots of the original and this remaster. It is so good. And I again, that's another game that I played recently that I don't want to replay the whole thing. Yeah, I don't want to replay the whole thing right now, but I bought it. It's a good game. WarioWare Move It, a good return back to smooth moves type style. I'm so glad that they did that because I didn't think they would do another one on Switch. And then I didn't play Mario Wonder. That's the one that I probably should have. But I want to give
you should have. We funded that mission.
I did promise one of our viewers, but it didn't happen. I'm sorry.
And us.
Well, that's okay.
I bought games.
That's okay.
You did. I want to give a shout out to 2 indies that did not come out this year that I played for the first time this year. One was Little Gator Game. That game is just such a joy to play. It is so cute. That's so adorable, fun.
Yeah.
And then I just also want to give a shout out to the indie game Unpacking. Holy crap. That is one of my top games of all time. I cannot overstate that. So yeah, that's me.
Nice. All right, let's try to speed it up and close it out. I've got a couple questions that I ask everybody every year. Game you are most likely to replay in 5 years that you played this year. And mine is a game that I absolutely loved. And if you don't have it on your list, you should. And it's Super Fashion Police, because that game was fucking dope, man. It was so much fun. That's a really great pick up and play. Hey, I'm bored. I got one of these portables. I got a handheld. I got my Steam Deck OLED. You got to pick up Super Fashion Police. Smack someone with a belt. Yell some outlandish shit. It's a funny little boomer shooter. It's awesome. It's a really funny game. I definitely will replay that. That's a game that I could see myself replaying every couple of years just because it's so much fun.
Resident Evil 4.
Yeah. You got to throw that into the mix every so often. That's a good pick.
Yeah.
Delvin.
Mario Wonder.
Yes.
That's a game I probably play every other year when I'm sad and down. Like, let me just throw this in a place I'm gonna have fun and just not think about life.
Yeah.
Just
Run
like-
through a level or two for sure.
Yeah, I kind of
For
dig it.
sure. Garrett.
For me, it's Slay the Spire. That's a continuous just
Hmm.
drug of a game that I will play every year constantly. So there you go.
Kyle.
At that point, maybe Overwatch 3, whatever it is at that point.
Whatever monstrosity that is.
Whatever that it turns into, that's probably where I'll be at.
Hopefully,
It's
have a
Overwatch
story
1.
mode.
It's the same game. They just put a 3 on it. It's in the vibe.
It's the same.
That's
picture.
exactly what Overwatch 2
This
is.
is why I made
Yeah,
the
you
joke.
have
It's the
to
same
because they'll
thing.
take down
It is-
Overwatch 2
Every
That's right.
4 years, they just re-release Overwatch and they just give it a new
with
number.
a new number.
That'd be hilarious.
They don't even re-release it. They just
They'll
draw
go
it
back
like
to
a-
6v6
Yeah,
and be like,
number on it.
Overwatch
It's like
3.
they just change the color palettes on the costumes. They're like, it's a new game. Like,
Yeah.
Just write a 3 on it. All right,
Yeah.
it's 3.
Microsoft Paint the 4 on it.
what are you, Bex?
Probably Sea of Stars. That's like one of the ones where I like to pick up things like Chrono Trigger every now and then. I'll probably do the same for Sea of Stars.
Nice. Not that I want to shame games, but it is often interesting to see if you had any big misses. Do you have any buyer's remorse? Anything you got into and you were like, oh, this isn't what I wanted it to be. For me, those games this year were Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3.
Oh, dang. Yeah.
Oh,
I was so excited. Pre-ordered it back in like June. Love Modern Warfare 1. Love Modern Warfare 2. And here's the sad part. 4 hours into the campaign, was loving every bit of the campaign I was playing. It just kept damn crashing over and over again. It would crash and reboot, and I tried to get in the game, and I couldn't restart. And it's like, why am I banging my head against the wall trying to get into this game when it's going to come to Game Pass? So I just put it back on the shelf, and I was like, I will wait. Oxenfree 2 was a huge letdown for me. I loved Oxenfree for the first one so much. And I think Oxenfree 2 sucks. Like, I'm just going to say it. I just don't think it's very good. I also didn't like WrestleQuest as much as I thought I would. Neither did I
hear
like
that one's rough.
WWE 2K23 as much as I thought I would. So those were my big misses. And I want to point out, Alan Wake 2, I would not consider a big miss. I played it and get it. I wouldn't consider it a big miss. I just
It's
didn't
not for
enjoy it
you.
as much as others. It's just not for me. I am one of those people. It's not for me.
This is gonna shock people. Diablo 4.
I don't think that
I
shocked
that
me
don't
at all.
shock me at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game
I-
really came super
And went.
and went.
I said that people
And-
got mad at me for saying it. I've
And
been
here's
proven right.
the thing. It would not be a buyer's remorse if they had not nerfed my class straight into the fucking ground.
Jeez.
I would still be playing it right now.
It's crazy.
If
I
they
feel like
had
Diablo
not-
3 was around for like 5 years, and I feel like Diablo was around for like 4 weeks.
Diablo
I
3 is
never heard
still
about it
active.
ever
They're still
again.
updating it to this
It'll come
thing.
to Game
They're
Pass
still-
next year. It'll all be good.
Yeah. But no, like I played it, I beat the story, I was doing all like the end game stuff, and then they nerfed sorcerer so hard into the ground that you literally you can't survive on your own. And I don't play with groups of people really. So I essentially just can't play it. And apparently they brought it back up a bit, but it's still not where it was at launch, and it makes me sad. I really love Diablo, and I don't know. I'm sure I'll come back when they do the expansion. Like I do love Diablo. The expansion is coming sometime this year, apparently. I think that's what they said when they announced it. So
Sure.
I'm sure I'll play that. But I don't know that I'll stick around for the season stuff. Like I still here's how much I haven't played. I bought the super expensive early access version, which came with a free battle pass redemption for like their premium battle pass. I haven't even used it. It's still just sitting in my account waiting for me to claim a battle pass. So
Delvin?
This is going to be a big one. But I'm going to say it because I think it's well worth saying it. PSVR 2.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
I'm like, yeah, I kind of look at it now like, I don't need this. Everything I wanted in VR I had it with the Quest 2, and this is not improving that at all. Like, all right, this is cool. It's fun, but this is not something I can see myself playing and getting into. This feels a little bit more cumbersome. Like, this is.
It's gonna be a killer trade-in on the Switch too, though.
Yeah,
you're gonna get Switch 2 for free.
yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. Like, this feels like trade bait. Like,
yeah,
like, hey, I got this
I get it.
PSVR 2, but it's like, yeah, I'm underwhelmed by it. Like, all right, this is cool, but we already had this. Now that they have the Quest 3, I'm like, I kind of want the Quest 3 more than I wanted the PSVR 2. Like, oh, this is not a great. It's okay, but I get it. But it's not. I was underwhelmed by it by a lot. And that's saying a lot as a person who likes VR.
Yeah. Garrett, any big misses?
I wouldn't say a big miss, but it's something that just didn't really jive with me when I got it. And I did get, Nintendo vouchers. So Super Mario RPG was one and Tears of the Kingdom was the other. And I just think I wasn't in the mindset for Tears of the Kingdom at the time. And so I kind of just like went into it, played 20 hours of it. And I'm like, I'm just not having too much fun with this right now. I'll be in the mood later sometime when I'm into Zelda, whenever that is. So I think I would have rather picked like Pikmin 4 or just some other Nintendo, probably Pikmin 4, because that seems like that would be down my alley.
Yeah,
but
probably
I still enjoyed my time with Tears of the Kingdom. It was just like, this is a game I don't want to continue playing right now. I'll probably
you can't force it. It's got to be the right time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Kyle?
So for me, it's not a game that I think it was a huge like, oh no, it didn't work out, and I thought it was gonna be amazing, but I was just really hoping it was gonna be good, and then it just really wasn't amazing, and that's Atlas Fallen.
Right.
Yeah, I've hovered over that pre-order of that button a few times over the year.
I really want, and it's not bad. It's not a bad game.
Yeah,
but,
it's just not good. It's not like great either, right?
Yeah, and with the year that we had, it just was not. Yeah.
If you see a trailer of that game, you're like, this is going to be great. And then you watch some reviews or you see anybody talk about it, and you're like, it's not as great as I thought it might be.
Atlas Fallen is the day before.
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah, definitely not. Yeah, I've had that on my wish list for some time. And every now and again, when it's on sale, I look at it and I go, I feel the same way about Armored Core. Like, every now and again, I'm like, maybe. But then, yeah, you get a lot of the same reactions. Bex, you have any big misses?
Yes. I have buyer's remorse for Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life, which is a remake of my favorite Harvest Moon game. It's just not a good remake. It's just not a good remake. I regret buying it. I'm trying to sell it.
Our next question that I wrote down, we can just shout these out if you've got them. Which game do you want a sequel to most? Mine's Engage. And I'm kind of willing into existence. I want a Fire Emblem Engage Warriors game. Like Fire Emblem Three Houses had a Warriors game.
Yeah,
I want a Fire Emblem Engage Warriors game. So that's
super cool.
Anybody got a game you played this year that you're desperately wanting a sequel to?
Unpacking. I know it didn't come out this year, but I played it this year and I want a sequel so badly.
Nice.
Dead Island.
Dead Island. I want a sequel to As Dusk Falls.
That would be dope.
That's a great one.
Yeah, hey, that game's coming out on PlayStation soon, and guys, you got to play it. You got to give it a try.
Yep,
if you're into like those Telltale games, I really like As Dusk Falls in that vein a lot.
Yeah, I really want a sequel to Dredge.
Ooh, Dredge 2. Yeah, I mean, I'm there day one. Yeah, for sure. Are you in on that Dave the Diver stuff?
I probably will be. Yeah, I haven't played Dave the Diver yet. In general,
I'm not that into Dave the Diver.
But yeah, I want to. I just haven't yet.
Which I feel very distant. There's so many people that love Dave the Diver, and
Josh loves it.
I feel like I don't get it. Like I played it for and maybe I didn't play it enough. I played it for like maybe like there was a demo, and I played the demo for like an hour. I was like, really? Like, this is the thing that everybody is really into? Like I don't get it. I used to call this the Game Pass Game of the Year. But obviously we have lots of subscriptions now, PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Premium, and we've got Epic Games giving away games every year, and GeForce and all that. So what's your favorite game that you played via subscription? NSO counts? Anybody got a game that they played 100%
Shining Force
subscription? Shining Force. Nice.
I can't even think of one.
Mine's Planet of Lana. Planet of Lana. One of my favorite games this year. Got on Game Pass. Didn't pay a dime.
I don't think I I've grabbed all of the free games this year. I think so much has come out. I haven't touched anything, right? Like I played Starfield through Game Pass for like 8 hours, but Starfield's not for me. Like I'm more partial to Skyrim and Fallout and Elder Scrolls, but the last one was Skyrim, and you get the point. But like I played Starfield up to the Mantis mission essentially, and at that point I was like, all right, I see what this is. This is not for me. Y'all have fun. And yeah, that's about the only one I can think of. Like they gave out Lego 2K Drive on PS Plus this month. I haven't even downloaded it, started it yet.
That game.
So
I'm playing Alan Wake as well from PS Plus. That's pretty good.
The thing that I love about Lego 2K Drive coming to PlayStation Plus is the reason that game had, I think, middling reviews is its heavy microtransactions. If you can get that game for free and like just blow $20 on it, you will have a shit ton of fun. Like you can get like the car that you want, the superhero Lego that you want, and then just play that game and have a blast. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, for me, for subscription, definitely with Sea of Stars.
Yeah, that was everywhere too.
Oh,
right? Like it was everywhere but Nintendo on subscription. Yeah.
Which is odd, by the way. That seems like a perfect Nintendo.
No, Nintendo NSO doesn't give like.
No, it's on Switch. It's on Switch, Haley. It's just not on a subscription.
Yeah, it's just not on NSO.
No, that's what I was saying. It seems like a game that would fit well to be played on the Switch, and I'm surprised Nintendo didn't try to like wrangle that up.
Well, they only do old games.
Yeah,
they only
do
classic
that with
games.
They're not giving you
it doesn't
the
do
new
anything
stuff.
like that. Yeah,
You pay for
not
that.
even a little bit. In 2028, they'll be like, you can play Sea of Stars for free for 8 days on NSO. Like that's how NSO operates.
You got 3 hours to play this.
Kind of in this, and I honestly didn't even think about it. Not that I have buyer's remorse, because I definitely do not. I was not that into Game Pass this year as I have been in years past.
Oh,
For a major reason. The majority of the games that I really wanted to play on Game Pass this year were all delayed out of this year. Like all of them. And when we get into talking about 2024, they'll all come back up. But like there's like a core 4 or 5 games that I've been waiting to play on Game Pass that all missed 2024. And so like when it comes to Game Pass this year, there was a great year for Game Pass, right? There was Hi-Fi Rush, there was Persona, like all these games came out. I just didn't play a lot of them. They weren't all that into me. When it comes to Game Pass for me this year, it's really Planet of Lana and Redfall. Because I didn't play Starfield either. You know, and I see Kyle smile. I liked Redfall. Guess what? I like Redfall a lot
I hear
more
it's
than
pretty
I like
good
Alan Wake
now.
2.
Like it's updated pretty well.
I really do. So I hope more people get a chance to play it. But I really liked Redfall for what it is. It's not amazing, but it's not awful either. People are trying to make that game like it was like a 4.
I didn't get a chance to play Redfall either, but like, I mean, I've waited, and now they have the 60 FPS mode now, right? So
I don't know. I don't know if they do. I don't know if it's 60 FPS or not. But it was 60 FPS on day one for me on PC, and that went a long way.
Again, this is a situation where I learned my lesson the hard way. My computer does not have enough VRAM.
Wait, GoldenEye? That was the other Game Pass game of the year for me. Like we had GoldenEye 007.
Was that this year that came?
Yeah,
or was that last year?
Yep.
This year?
It was this year.
Oh, I guess I did that this year then too.
Is that your subscription game? Was it on?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in NSO. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was this year.
Awesome.
Wow, that feels like forever ago.
It does. Yeah. All right. So wrapping up, let's look ahead. And let's look ahead at what the games that we're looking forward to this upcoming year and make some predictions. Before we do, Yarden, I guess, listened to our old episode from last year and wrote down the responses. And I just wanted to take a moment to go through them for us to just get an idea of like where we were at last year when we did this.
I love him for this.
Yeah, like exactly. I would never do it. Like 100%. I am not ever going to do this. But because he did it, we will make this a part of the show. So last year we had Sean, Haley, Dev, Rebecca, Delvin, and Donnie. And I don't know if this is a question or whatever, but at some point we talked about, will this game release in 2023? And I'm not going to go through every one of them. Let's pick out a couple. Hellblade 2. Rebecca said yes, Hellblade 2 would release.
That didn't come out, did it?
It did not.
No,
it definitely did not.
It doesn't even have doesn't
rest...
even have a solid date next year. Just the 2024.
Oh, actually, it was Rebecca and Sean thought it was coming out last year or this year. and the rest of the panel said no. Lollipop Chainsaw remake. Let's see here. Haley said, I want it to. That's good. Like, I want it to come out. And the rest of us said no, and it's still nowhere.
Did I say I'm totally indifferent?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. And there's a couple of these. Hang on. I'll go ahead and pull one of these out because you told me at some point to stop making up games. Where was that? Okay. Tim Saray's The Last Night. Your response was stop making fake games, Donnie.
Yeah, I remember that game.
This is like me.
Persona 3 remake. Delvin and Donnie both said it would come out in 2023. Everybody else said no, and I believe it's not out yet, right? It comes out like
February next year.
February. Playdad's next game. Yes from Sean. Yes from Rebecca. Yes from Delvin. Yes from Donnie. Dev said, "Are we done yet?"
That sounds about right.
And the game is not out. It's not announced.
That's why he's not here.
We have no
I don't even
idea.
know what that is. Why would I say yes?
That explains.
There was concept
everything.
art. They released concept art of what Playdad's next game was going to be. We've seen a picture, like an image, a still image of what it might be.
Right.
That quote explains exactly what
Playdad is. Playdad is not State of Decay. Playdad is Limbo.
Playdad. Oh,
Playdad is Limbo.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll throw Sean a bone here. Quake, id Software's next game. Would id Software release a game next year? Sean said yes, and it'll be Quake. Everybody else said no. Apparently, I put no, but I like the Quake idea, and not that I think this counts, but Quake 2 remastered.
Quake, yeah,
right?
Yeah,
it counts.
It's come out.
Yeah.
It counts. It counts. It's really close.
Good job, Capri.
Okay, I've got one more for Haley since you're here. I'm trying to pick and choose out of these so it don't take forever. Will Dragon Age Dreadwolf come out? The entire panel, but Haley said no. And Haley said the Dragon Age was on the way.
That's not coming until 2035.
Yeah.
yes.
At this point, let me point out they released yet another 45-second trailer and goes full reveal coming summer 2024. Yeah, that game's not coming until 2025 at the earliest.
Yeah, that game's not coming.
Donnie, did we say anything about Metroid Prime? I wonder if I said it would come out this year. I think I probably would have said no. There's nothing on there about it.
I just want you to go through all the stupid things I said. Did I say anything
hang on.
stupid?
Because as we get into what we're about to get into, last year we asked each other the same question. What will your favorite game be at this point next year? Haley said Alan Wake 2.
Okay.
Right? Dev said Jedi Survivor. I don't know if that's his favorite game, but it's pretty close.
Yeah.
Rebecca said Tears of the Kingdom.
No surprise.
Good
Nailed
job.
it. Delvin said Spider-Man 2 or Forspoken.
Wow.
They're both on my list. So,
And then
yeah.
I said Assassin's Creed Mirage or Resident Evil 4 remake.
Okay.
You got close on one of them.
One of them on there.
We know what we like.
We didn't
I'm
even
playing
mention
Mirage
Mirage.
now. Mirage is not even on my list yet because I haven't beat it yet. I'm playing it now. I've been playing it for the past week. I like it a lot. I don't know if I like it enough to crack my top 5, but I'm actually enjoying it. So with that out of the way, thank you, Yarden, so much for doing the homework. That's
Good job,
incredible.
Yarden.
Incredible stuff.
See you next year.
I want to ask everybody, what game are you looking forward to next year? And since I read all this and talked, I'll go last. Haley, what games are you looking forward to next year?
This is gonna shock people, but legally, I'm not allowed to say one of them.
Oh God,
What does that even mean?
What about
it means
illegally?
Suicide Squad is what it means.
Yeah, I mean Suicide Squad.
Okay, thank you.
I cannot say one
I
of
got
them.
it. I can say it. She may not legally be able to say it, but I can say it. It means Suicide Squad.
I signed an NDA. I cannot
Connie
say it.
said, fuck the law.
Fuck these people. Yeah. I give a shit about these corpos. They're not going to come to you and get you in Canada.
Yeah.
And
They're like, where's Canada? You know, like,
hey,
that's fun.
I am not gonna fuck with Coupe's lawyers. Okay, they sent the Pinkertons after someone. I'm not fucking with those lawyers.
Haley,
It'd be the greatest thing ever of PSVG if we get acknowledged to the point that you get put in handcuffs because of our podcast. It'd be the best PR. Our damn downloads would go through the roof.
Seriously.
We got
Haley,
damn mugshot of Haley. She's like, yeah, I said it, and I'd say it again.
I'm just letting you know, Haley, you have no money. You're okay. What are they gonna do?
Oh,
What are they gonna get from you?
She doesn't. What are they gonna do?
Yeah.
See, for $8.
Anything.
I mean, yeah, no, that's fine.
That's all of us.
okay.
That's not just
Yeah.
you. What do you get from me?
Whoa,
Some
Let's see what they're
fucking
gonna be
video game
practicing.
memorabilia, some controllers.
Yeah,
Best
right.
of luck,
exactly.
guys.
No,
What are they gonna do?
yeah,
Take Optimus Prime from me? Good luck.
Right.
no, I'm
100%.
I'm very excited for that game. It's very sad that it's Conroy's last performance, so I'm very excited for that.
I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah. Fallout 4 next gen update got delayed. It was supposed to come out this year, but it's coming out next year. I'm excited to play that again. I imagine the main reason behind this delay was just to put it right next to the TV show that's coming in April. I'm excited to see what's coming from other studios because we don't know a lot, but I will say one that I'm cautiously optimistic for because Donnie's right. It looks dated, but man, am I excited for Dragon's Dogma 2. That's coming in March. Oh, and that new Don't Nod game that got announced. That
Yes.
Banishers,
Lost
Ghosts
Records.
of New Eden.
That looks
Yeah.
cool.
No, I'm talking about Lost Records, the one that was
Oh
just
yeah,
announced.
the
That one looks
actual
cool,
like
too.
the Life is Strange
Yeah.
type.
Whatever
I
one
get you.
Haley's talking about is the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm
Banishers
down
looks-
for both of those.
Yeah, Banishers looks cool as well, but the one that I was specifically referencing was the one that just got announced.
We were just talking about this on Shaq like maybe 3 weeks ago. I was saying it's about time for like the new Life is Strange game. I was
We
like, it's
did
about
say
that
that.
time. And it's not Life is Strange, but it is Life is Strange. Like that's
It's
the
like a
Life is
tell me
Strange
why
game.
type thing where
Yeah,
it's
it's
basically
like yeah, it's
Life
the
is
new Life is
Strange
Strange
without
game.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't keep up. Is Deck 9 doing Life is Strange now? And Don't
Yeah,
Nod's
I think
not?
so.
Usually.
Yeah.
Well, let me put it this way. Don't Nod is not legally allowed to touch Life is Strange.
Okay.
In fact, Square
And Deck
Enix
9 is
essentially
doing
took it
The
away from them.
Expanse, right?
I think so.
They might be.
Yes,
Isn't
and
that
the
what it's
called?
Telltale.
I
Yeah.
think so.
So that might be a minute before we actually get like the quote unquote Life is Strange game.
Well, the
Yeah,
Expanse
it
is
might
done.
be.
Oh, is it done? Well, I
It's
mean,
done.
yeah, but like it just released, right?
It released when it was October. Something
Yeah,
like that?
so like it just like they're not gonna
Yeah.
have a Life is Strange game out
Yeah.
in February. Yeah, it'll be a minute.
Yeah, it's gonna be a minute.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, but I'm gonna play that game too. I was excited to see that trailer for sure. That's a good game.
Oh, and also, I'm just throwing this out there for shits and giggles. I don't know if it's gonna release, but that's when they moved to Lollipop Chainsaw Remake 2, which is now a remaster. But
yeah, it's
I
a
still wanna
remaster.
play that.
Like it's got to come
Yeah.
out at some point this year, I think.
Yeah. I'm down to play it again. Give me
I'm
Michael
happy that it's a
Rosenbaum.
remaster. Like, don't mess it
Yeah.
up. Don't
Give-
change too much.
gi- Give me Michael Rosenbaum as a severed head making jokes. I'm all in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going
This first one I'm gonna say is gonna be a little controversial.
shocking.
It's gonna be
This
shocking.
is
it's
the
not gonna
most
be
shocking podcast
it's
of
not
all
gonna
time.
It's not gonna be shocking, but I already know what's gonna come from it. Based on who's on the show, the Last of Us 2 remaster,
Oh,
remake,
no.
whatever it's called. I knew that was coming.
I mean, I'm gonna play that again because
I have
I
chosen to
support
take my
you.
bathroom breaks
I
at
support
inopportune
you.
times during this podcast.
That's
Now is a
valid. Your
perfect
opinion
time.
is valid.
Not to Donnie, it isn't.
I'm sorry, Yarden. We failed you.
But that one, Alone in the Dark, which I'm excited for. I'm optimistic.
Are
for that
you?
one. Yes, I am.
That looks so mid, man. It really does.
But it
Like
looks
I
like
want to
my
love
type
it,
of
but
mid.
like it just doesn't look like it. It's deserving of such.
It looks like my type of man. Looks like a solid
Kyle's
7.
over here losing his shit.
That's
Look,
true. That's
I-
true. It is.
But
It is
see,
that game.
I was a Alone in the Dark fan like when it first came out, like the original
Same.
one, like the what was that the 80s, like the early 90s?
Oh no, not sorry, not that one. No, I'm
You
talking
were-
about the
you were like
360 one,
the-
yeah.
Yeah, I was like a big
Not
Alone
the
in the Dark
80s.
fan.
Jesus, the 80s. I was born in 87. Like definitely not then.
Yeah, you were.
I just love the fact that like Donnie, I feel like Donnie thinks that every time Delvin says something, he's just lying. Like he's just lying about like what he wants. It's like that can't be it. That can't be
And
real.
the funny
Can't
thing about it
possibly
is,
be true.
and the funny thing about it is, he knows my taste. He
Yeah.
knows it's true.
Yeah.
He's just
That's why I can
insulted
have
by
these
it.
outlandish rumors. Everybody's being polite. They're like, don't hate on Delvin. Like, fuck those opinions. Okay.
That is very accurate.
You can tell who doesn't listen to PSVG, right?
yeah, this is very accurate.
You guys don't understand how this works.
No, I totally understand how it works. It's just very different being here for it. Like it's a very different vibe.
Like, here's what I like. That is like, fuck that. No.
that.
Like something better, Delvin.
Hey, it's the same thing when Delvin and I go ham on superhero stuff on the podcast. I was like, "Fuck off!"
Hey, I'm gonna get that Suicide Squad game probably when the offline mode comes. But like, we talked about it when the trailer came out. Me and Dev were like, "Dude, this looks fun. Like, it
Looks
really
fun.
looks good." Yeah, I'm interested.
Again, I cannot legally say.
I'm not gonna play
What
a
I-
Shark Boy or whatnot, but like, I'll pick another one of the cool characters and like, they can go fight Superman or whatever.
King Shark, sir. King
Whatever
Shark.
it's
Look,
fucking
it is-
called.
it is
I'm gonna
now
call him Left
Shark Boy.
You remember that Super Bowl? I'm gonna call him Left Shark. That's who he is from
Oh.
now on. He's Left Shark. So
Yeah.
it looks
I
good.
got
do
Delvin.
remember that. Super Bowl.
Persona 3 Reloaded. I'm
Heck
excited for
yeah.
that.
Nice. Yeah.
Because I never
See-
played Persona 3, and that was
Okay,
a cool one.
here's my thing, and Garrett knows this all too well.
Should have been a Game Pass.
If
though.
they
Ooh,
if they had
Yeah.
actually put in the female playable character for this, I'd play it too. But nope, they decided to throw that right out the window and just stick with the one protagonist. So
that is weird.
guess what?
Sexist.
My desire to play that game goes right in the trash.
Persona 3 is the only Persona game that I've actually seen like the majority of because I dated a girl that loved Persona and I watched her play Persona. Like we kind of played it together.
Oh, nice.
So that'd be like the one that I'd have really any interest in.
Yeah.
But I can't get through them all.
Yeah.
It's too
I
slow for me.
understand. Yeah, too slow. I get it.
They're fun though. Persona games are great.
But Game Pass, get it on Game Pass, that one.
Game Pass day one, right there.
Get the Ally, you're set.
Yeah.
You got Steam Deck preloaded with Windows. You're
He
good.
does not have that. That is not a
No,
thing. That he
no,
has.
I don't think he'll understand that.
No,
I
he
won't
does
need it.
not understand that. He is literally looking at you like,
I won't
what
need
the
it.
fuck is that?
I'll
He
show you
has
the
an
way
ally,
to
and his only reason for having an ally is Game Pass. Like he's just got a whole system for that.
Yeah.
He's like,
it.
I
My
fixed
Goodness.
Yeah, problem solved.
it. He's like,
To
I
be
did it.
clear, I didn't have to buy the ally. I have women
Okay,
play
that's
it.
good. That's
It's
good.
nice. Yeah, they show it for free.
Yeah, it's just
Delvin lives a charmed life.
look.
That's
When
what
you-
that's
when you
my
have this
dude. You know,
good-looking
he
face-
brings the pipe when these people just show up.
With an RFG ally.
Emailed and shit to give it to him. My man, Delvin's getting
$800
it done.
machine.
Yeah,
I'm proud of
just
you.
showing
I'm
up
proud of
with
you,
an
man.
$800
I'm
machine,
proud of
huh?
you. You know, he's getting this shit done when she's like, "What's that $700 handheld? I'm getting it for you."
Yeah, that
You know, he's getting it.
yeah.
Insanity.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Well,
feel like everybody at PSVG is like, "What is happening?" Like we've like they're like, "This is the network we're part of."
Yeah. Look, y'all lay the pipe.
Wouldn't
y'all
have it
get
any
thrown
other
out.
way.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
Wow, PSVG's changed a bit since the last Christmas show.
Oh, God.
That's what happens.
okay.
Hey, man,
I'll piggyback
we've been
off of
talking
that.
about the-
Oh, you picking back off of me laying the pipe? Good job. Go for it.
Yeah.
I was about to make a talking vagina reference.
Guys, we're on hour 3. Let's go.
Let's go. All right.
We're almost there.
Persona 3 Reload is probably my most anticipated game next year, along with Dragon's Dogma 2, Avowed. And I know this is not coming out next year, but Judas, I'm very much looking forward to. Kevin
Yes,
Levine's
forgot
newest
about that
game.
one. Yeah,
Judas.
Good list.
Cool.
that looks great.
All right. Current list: Helldivers 2, Pacific Drive, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Tales of Ganzara, The Plucky Squire, No Rest for the Wicked,
Yes.
Rise of Ronin, and Hades 2 ?
Mm,
Maybe.
So that has its early access date confirmed for 2024 as of right now, but I do believe early
the Silk
access
Song.
will be PC only.
Henceforth, the question mark.
Yeah.
Bex,
I am looking forward to playing the 1,000-Year Door remake next
Yes.
year.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
a great one.
that's it.
And
That's it.
Fuck all the rest
Me
of
and-
the
This
games.
is one game.
Mina the Hollower if it releases next year.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Haunted Chocolatier if it releases next year. The Plucky Squire if it releases next year. Yeah.
Some indies.
Okay,
What about the
I
I'm
PC?
gonna hit
think,
y'all
yeah.
with some. My number one game for next year should not come as any surprise, and that's Hellblade. But I am very much looking forward to 1,000-Year Door, Prince of Persia, Mario vs. Donkey
Those was
Kong,
good.
the Tomb Raider collection, the Princess Peach game. I'll throw you one for a loop. John Carpenter's Toxic Commando.
Oh, that
Dude, that
next
game
year.
was-
That game.
That game looks great,
Gonna
but
play
man,
the
that
hell out of
original
it.
trailer did not run well.
No Rest for the Wicked. It's
Oh,
my
that looks
favorite
great.
trailer that I've seen. So yeah,
Yeah.
that looks incredible. And then
so good.
again, I throw this out there. All these Game Pass games I've been waiting on for fucking ever. Hopefully 2024 brings me Stalker 2 replaced and routine for Jesus. Get these
Yeah,
damn
true.
games out already. Slitterhead, Banishers, Sword of the Sea, Space Marine 2, and Cat Quest 3.
There you go.
Cool.
Good list.
Yeah. Okay. These can all be kind of put together. What's your biggest wish for 2023? And then let's just start there. Hang on. Scrap everything I just said. Just what's your biggest wish for 2023? If you could will a game into existence, what is it?
Infamous remake.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a
Parasite Eve.
really good one.
Parasite Eve remake. 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
A
Fallout.
top-down Zelda game.
Oh, that would be cool. Fallout 3, New Vegas remake.
That might
Please.
actually come too.
My biggest wish is a game that I know in theory exists, but I want it to be good, and that's I hope Stellar Blade comes out and it's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
me
looks
too.
good.
I also want that too. I want that game to be awesome too. Ass, right? Is the right game?
Yeah.
I was not
Yes.
just about-
Fucking right.
I
Yeah.
was just about to
That's
say
the game,
that's
man.
that game
Baby
with
got
ass,
back.
right? Like
Yes.
that's the
Yes,
game.
I remember that
Yeah.
game.
Bakery.
The ass game, yeah.
You got
I would
cake.
love nothing more than the new NCAA football game be amazing.
Oh yeah.
I don't
Oh,
think
yeah,
it's going to
that's true.
be, but I really
that even
would
coming out at
love
this
nothing
point?
more than it
They've
to
delayed
be.
It
so
is.
many times.
They say it's coming.
Yep, summer
Yeah.
2024.
Yeah. So wrapping up the show, we asked the same question we asked last year. What do you think your favorite game in 2023 will be? Now here's I'm going to give you a caveat this year that we didn't do last year. I want you to give me what your favorite game is going to be this year, but then I want you to give me a sleeper pick. What do you think has a chance to be? Now it's got to be a sleeper. Don't give me your second favorite game. Give me a sleeper, something literally out on the periphery that you're like, if this hits, it could be there.
So just to be clear, we are talking 2024, right?
I'm
you
sorry.
said
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't change the date. Yep, 2024.
Yeah.
I read the
Okay.
teleprompter.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2024.
Okay. So you want both then, right?
Yep.
Okay. I think my favorite game of next year may end up being Suicide Squad based on what we know is announced. And sleeper hit. I'm honestly gonna go with Lollipop Remake. Like that's
Nice.
not even that's not even me picking. Like that would be my second. It's just like if it hits, it could end up there.
Sure. Okay.
All right. I think my game of the year will be Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And my sleeper. That's hard because no. You know what? I'm gonna go Suicide Squad.
Okay. Is that a sleeper for you?
Yeah, definitely.
Superhero game?
I wasn't expecting to like that one.
Okay. All right.
Because it's multiplayer and all that other stuff. You're like, oh yeah.
All right.
All right. This is a hard one. What I think could be my game of the year next year is Avowed. I've been super amped for it ever since they showed the trailer. A sleeper hit, I think, could be the next Pokemon Legends, whatever that game would that
Ooh.
be.
I
I
like
think
that
they're
you're
gonna go
going with
for
an
it.
unannounced idea. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good job.
So I think genuinely my pick will be something that doesn't have a date yet.
Marquee
2024.
Sony first party game.
Pretty much, yes.
Anything that they do.
Yes, anything
Yes.
they do, that's going to be number one. But so then with games that are announced, I'll pick, I think, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Sleeper pick, though, Cat Quest Pirates of the Caribbean will be my sleeper pick.
That's a
Super
dredge
sleeper
overlap,
pick.
isn't it?
My
That
super
dredge
sleeper pick.
overlap. We saw the boat and shit. I'm like, I'm down for this
I know,
game.
I'm
Yeah.
totally in. I'm totally in.
Yeah.
The super sleeper pick, though, we're going to go with Foam Stars. Let's go!
Oh,
no.
Foam Star.
Oh no,
Oh
we
my
almost
I can totally see you enjoy
2023
that.
without hearing it again. Damn it, Kyle.
Yeah.
I think that my game of the year next year is going to be something that we don't know exists yet, something that has not been announced yet.
Switch 2 launch title.
Maybe. And then I think my sleeper pick, something that I'm not even planning on buying right now, but will probably somehow get roped into doing a review or whatever for, is the Princess Peach Showtime.
Yes.
There you go.
I don't even have any interest in
We're
it,
gonna
but
put
that's
Peach in a chef off it and make her make sandwich, and Rebecca's gonna lose her shit.
Yep.
And I also just want to make a prediction about Metroid Prime 4. I think we're going to see it for the first time next year.
Nice.
And I think it's going to come out in 2025.
Okay.
I'll piggyback
So,
up your
Yarden, when you're putting
bandwagon.
together the notes for next year, Yarden, that's my Metroid Prime prediction.
I'll piggyback off your prediction because I've said this before. I think we're going to see Gears this year. I do think we're going to see the next installment of Gears. I think Xbox is going to show the next Gears of War at some point before the end of the year. I think Hellblade would be my game of the year pick at the moment. My sleeper pick is possibly trying to think. Could be a tie. And I'm just going to go with these. I have been enamored with Stalker 2 and Plucky Squire since I've seen them. It's just the way, just visually, everything that I've seen, I'm like, that looks like my jam. I never even played Stalker 1, and what I've learned about Stalker since, it doesn't look anything remotely like anything that I would like. But for whatever reason, the marketing and the trailers and the images that we've seen for Stalker 2 really speak to me. So I'm very interested in those games. So that's supposed to be the end of the show, but I just mentioned Switch 2, and I feel remiss. I feel like we have to talk about it at least a little bit. We are on the precipice of a system release. We think, right? We all think across the board. We all think.
I don't know about that.
You don't know?
I'm just I'm messing with you.
Okay. So I just wanted to, since we only do this once a year, how do you guys feel about the Switch 2? Does anybody have anything they want to say? Anything you're hoping to see? Anything at all? I want to get it in before we close down this.
Let me just point out that if I have to choose between PS5 Pro or Switch 2, PS5 Pro wins. Sorry.
All right.
Cool.
That's fair.
I'm gonna say I'm going to Switch 2. Like my PS5 is good enough.
Is there anything that you're looking for though? Like, is there anything that you're hoping to see from this next system?
It needs to stay hybrid.
Yes,
I agree with that.
I think that's a given, but what I want to see, I won't get.
Given no
I don't know what Nintendo.
Yeah, they could show up with a tablet for all we know. What
I want to see, I won't get.
Watch.
It's not dependent on the hardware. It's
they
dependent
fucking
on
have
the
Game and Watch and shit and
habit.
start releasing games individually, and so you've never any idea about them. But yes, it would make sense that they keep that going.
Yeah.
Yes.
What I want to see would be a Pokemon game that runs well, and that's more or less.
Yeah, that's
too much.
You dream,
If we're
Billy.
doing that,
Yes, for a lot.
That's exactly.
You dream.
That's exactly
you gotta
what I
wait
said.
years.
Yeah.
Switch 3, maybe.
Yeah.
You know what? If they put Pokemon, they could put Pokemon Yellow out on Switch 2, and that might run pretty well. Maybe.
Hey, you know what? If Pokemon Yellow, maybe, like if they put out Pokemon Yellow and it runs fantastic, you know what? I'm probably there.
I'm dying for Switch 2, which is not any shocker. I've been dying for Switch 2 since 2018. So like I am dying for Switch 2. I want it to be fully backwards compatible, and then I am all in, like literally from day one. So
there you go. Yeah, me too.
I can't wait.
I think the one thing that could make me jump in on a Switch 2 on day one is, I guess this is the game I'd will into existence too, that I think I want, but actually maybe I don't want, is an HD 2D remake of Chrono Trigger.
Ooh,
that'd be cool.
I mean, that's a system seller.
Please. Yes, please.
I want that damn HD 2D remake of Dragon Quest to show up already.
The Dragon Quest 3,
for the damn thing. Yeah.
Next year.
It'd be nice if Wind Waker finally came out for fucking Switch.
I think we speculated so much, Donnie, on this Super Switch
for years.
Years. And we kind of have an understanding of what it is now. It's going to be a very
and what it's not going
stable.
to be.
And what it's not going to be. It's not going to be a 4K machine at all.
It's not going to. I don't think it's going to be a Steam Deck killer or an Ally killer or anything.
No.
It's not going to be that either.
It's going to be on par, maybe around there.
If you're thinking at 30 FPS, yeah, sure.
Yeah, 30 FPS.
Yeah.
And I at least for me, it's like if there's a killer exclusive game on Switch 2, then maybe I'll go for the system. But
Mario
right now,
Kart X gonna give it to you.
goodness. I'm not planning on getting Switch 2 day one. Just because, I don't really feel compelled to get just a fancier tablet for all my Switch games. My Switch games.
You don't even know if that's what it is. It could be like a amazing thing that does everything you've ever wanted and dreamed and hoped.
I really just get the system for the games, and it's really just
maybe it'll have all of the games that you want. Maybe it'll have a new Fire Emblem. Maybe it'll have...
If it gets a new Fire Emblem,
I love that Rebecca immediately. She's like, "Whoa!"
How can you say you're not getting something day one that hasn't even been announced yet?
Well, I'm telling you, Rebecca, that
based on the conjecture,
I only get the games. I only get the system if the exclusives are there. If they're not there for me, if I'm not interested in it, then I'm not gonna probably get the
What
system.
if it prints out $100 bill every time you play a game?
Rebecca's out here trying to sell
she's getting it going. I love it.
I don't even know what that means.
You just don't know. I'm not saying. I don't even know if I'll get it day one. How can you say that? It doesn't even exist.
I do. Dylan and I do. We're getting there. We're there. Aren't we, Dylan? We're there. Right. We're in.
Day zero.
You guys are in. I'm not. So
I need a patch for GTA Trilogy on Switch, and I am in.
Yeah,
that's my bar for entry is so low. It's so low. Yeah. They're like 60 FPS Breath of the Wild. Here's the money, Nintendo. Thank you. I'll take 2. I'm in. All right. So that's it. That's our PSVG wrap up of 2023. Thank you all to the panelists that joined the show, that signed up for the show. I appreciate it. I appreciate your time. I definitely appreciate your 3 hours and 15 minutes. Thank you so much. And PSVG listeners, we hope that you've enjoyed the show.
You better
wish you the merriest of Christmases, and may your stockings and presents under the tree be filled with games and controllers and everything you could want. We hope that this show is everything that you want it to be, to fill you in until we come back. First show is what, Delvin? January
3rd, I think.
3rd. We will be back, PSVG proper, and then Shaq will take over directly after. And that's Sunday. So we look forward to seeing you again in 2024. And again, one more time, reminders, we've got new folks that are going to be joining sometime this year. I don't know who they are yet, but we've got guests. They're lined up. I've done a database, I have an Excel spreadsheet. I got people that we will be putting on shows, and hopefully we'll inject a little new blood in 2024. So hopefully you hear some new voices.
I just want to thank all of our listeners for a wonderful 2023. Thank you for making it great.
Yeah. Thanks for spending your time listening with us.
So that's it. We'll see you next year. Yarden, get your notes down, and we'll catch you Christmas 2024 to see what we got wrong. This is probably just mostly wrong. What we got wrong. Mostly what we got wrong. And that's it.
Bye-bye.
Deuces.